We are live from Hot Springs at Hot Springs High School at a beautiful stadium here. This is Jeff Root. Along with me is Chris Babb and also Chase Hartzell. Along with me on stats tonight, he'll bring us a stat report at halftime and in the postgame, Jim Rothwell. And on camera tonight, Coleman Callan from Coleman, Alabama. He does just about everything with the letter C, and we're glad he's with us for the camera operation tonight. This is going to be an interesting night. It's a little bit cooler than last week. Not that it's cool yet, but it's cooler than it was last week. Arkadelphia fighting to overcome a loss last week in the game that opened the season at Badger Stadium against Fairview. 41-21 was that score. Arkadelphia looking to bounce back this week against an old opponent in Hot Springs. Sometimes a conference opponent, sometimes a non-conference. This year, a non-conference opponent, as Hot Springs is the second team in consecutive weeks that Arkadelphia has faced from the 5A South Conference. Arkadelphia in the 4A, of course. Now, I tell you what, Hot Springs looked awfully good in their first game. They played Fountain Lake, another team from Arkadelphia's 4A conference, and they beat Fountain Lake 52-7, led 26-7 at halftime. They were led by the passing of Isaac, Schuler, and Mr. Schuler had 14 completions in 26 attempts, 240 yards passing, and 164 of those went to a sophomore who's outstanding here in Hot Springs named TJ Brogdon. Only a sophomore playing his first game of his sophomore year, and he had 7 catches for 164 yards and 2 touchdowns. But they're not just a passing team. They had 3 runners that got 78 or more yards last week. They were led by Perry Jones, also a sophomore. He had 83 yards running and 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Walker had 78 yards rushing and 1 touchdown on only 4 carries. And Akeem Dorsey had 78 yards on 10 carries also for Hot Springs. So they had quite an offensive attack and scored 52 points against Fountain Lake last week, and Arkadelphia will look to slow down Hot Springs tonight and also put more points on the board than they did last week in that contest against Camden Fairview. It's going to be a very interesting contest. We're excited to bring it to you, and we will take a break. When we come back, you're going to hear from Chris Babb and his conversation with Arkadelphia head coach Trey Shucker.
At Southern Bancorp, we are wealth builders for everyone. We see building wealth as helping people succeed in creating strong financial futures. For some, it's having tools to build credit and buy a first home. For others, working with our award-winning SBA team to launch or grow a small business. And still others might use our unique savings plan today to save for tomorrow's dreams. Wherever you are in your wealth building journey, Southern Bancorp can help. Stop by or visit banksouthern.com to get started. Southern Bancorp, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Under perfect conditions, your car traveling at 65 miles per hour can stop in about 300 feet. That's the length of a football field.
But a fully loaded tractor trailer, one that weighs 80,000 pounds, will take 2 football fields to stop. And that's if the driver is rested, paying attention, and the truck and load is properly maintained.
If you're in an accident with a big truck, call 1-800-CAR-WRECK.
Get the experienced team that's going to be on your side, by your side.
Price & Company Insurance is the area's only trusted choice independent insurance agency. What is that, you might ask? An independent insurance agency works for you, the customer, and not the insurance companies. So the next time you're shopping for home, auto, business, life, or health insurance, we invite you to experience an unprecedented level of customer service and expertise. Call or click for a quote today.
For over 75 years, Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts on Main Street in Arkadelphia has served the people of Arkadelphia and her surrounding communities, providing a wide variety of floral and gift needs. Do you have a special occasion that calls for just the right touch of creativity? Join the many who call David Goodman at Mary and Martha's to create a floral arrangement to fit their needs and budget. Call Mary and Martha's at 870-246-2446 or visit their location at 921 Main Street in Arkadelphia. Mary and Martha's Florist is a proud supporter of the Arkadelphia Badgers.
Welcome back to the Southern Bancorp Badger pregame show. Chris Babb visiting with Arkadelphia head coach Trey Shucker. This interview brought to you by Austin Wingfield State Farm, 620 Pine Street in Arkadelphia. Give them a call at 870-246-2162.
Coach Shucker, we met last week getting ready for the season opener. Lots of excitement. I know the end result was not what you or the team or the coaching staff had planned for. There were some positives and negatives to take out of that game. Kind of give us your overall thoughts as you look back to last week's game against Camden Fairview before we get talking about Hot Springs tonight.
Yeah, we were excited to play, for the season to be here and everything wide open. Didn't go the way we planned or had hoped. But, like you said, there's a lot of good things to take away from the game. I thought our defense played really well early. We were able to get to the ball and make plays. Offense just kind of struggled to get things going and find its rhythm. We're able to get the ball in the end zone a couple times, but just overall over the course of the night, just didn't make enough plays to win the game. Saw a lot of fight. We competed all game long. Just wasn't enough to get the game won, but didn't play well on third down and late in the game in the second half on offense or defense. We had some players go down and didn't finish the game. So it was just a mixture of a lot of things that just kind of escalated over the course of the game.
We talked, I guess, in the pregame show last week about the temperature and the heat and games being being different than scrimmages or practices or things like that, and I bet that was an area of focus this week in practice as well.
Absolutely. It was a hot week last week. We had to monitor and adjust, and we did the same thing this week. We had a couple hot days, and we monitored and adjusted our practice, and we really had a good week of practice this week, and the kids were in good spirits and prepared well for Hot Springs tonight, and we really feel good about the game tonight.
Don't want to get all philosophical, but you say, playing team sports or things like that are good practice for life. And when you have a loss and you've planned all off season and preseason for a game, the season opener, and you come on a big high, and then at the end of the game you've come up with a loss.
Right.
You do have a chance to bounce back, and I know I saw your quote in the paper and on the postgame show is, if I know these kids, they'll come back and we'll be better next week. And it sounds like that's the attitude that those guys brought to practice Sunday and Monday.
That's exactly right. After the game and Sunday as well, when we brought the kids in for Sunday practice, I told them, hey, that wasn't a very good representation of our football team. We are a lot better football team than what we showed that night. The kids agreed. They knew it just was one of those nights. And, we don't want to have any more of those nights. But they knew we were a better football team than that, and they took it as a positive. We watched the film and corrected a lot of things and worked on the things to improve. And the kids had a great attitude all week in practice and how we prepared for Hot Springs tonight. So,
all right, Badgers and the Trojans are just a few minutes away. You're tuned in to the Southern Bancorp Badger pregame show. Our interview with Trey Shucker brought to you by Austin Wingfield State Farm, and we'll have more with Coach Shucker after this timeout.
At Eccles, Thompson, and Kneebone CPA, we seek to provide accounting, tax, and financial planning services to individuals and small businesses with proficiency and integrity. Serving Arkadelphia since 1977, our staff looks forward to meeting your financial goals of today and also becoming your financial advocate for life. Visit us at 205 North 25th Street or call 246-8991 today. Eccles, Thompson, and Kneebone LTD says go Badgers.
Hey, I didn't order any pizza.
Jake from State Farm. After you saved me so much dough on insurance with that Parker promo, I devised a promo for you.
Here's the deal, Parker. State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Right. Pepperoni pockets, cuckoo crusties.
There's no promo, it's just great rates.
And a cider ranch.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Austin Wingfield in Arkadelphia today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
As a family-owned sporting goods supplier since 1950, Southwest Sporting Goods understands the value of customer service and is committed to providing the best quality customer service and merchandise available. Southwest Sporting Goods is located in Arkadelphia, but also has salesmen that cover the entire state of Arkansas to help ensure that their customers will receive the best customer service and pricing that can be found. Southwest Sporting Goods, located in downtown Arkadelphia, supporting the Badgers since 1950.
Everyone's known for something. Ours is simple. At the Southwest Auto Collection and iDriveSWA.com, you get the absolute lowest price on America's best brands: Ford, Lincoln, Chevy, GMC, Buick, and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. The best selection and the lowest prices guaranteed. And we deliver anywhere in the state, plus tires for life. It really is that simple. Visit us today, the Southwest Auto Collection, I-30 exit 78 in Arkadelphia, or online at iDriveSWA.com.
Locally owned and operated, Java Primo is the official coffee house of ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com. At Java Primo, amazing coffee is just the beginning. In addition to coffee, drinks, and desserts, we also have wonderful options for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Shop our gift selection 24/7 online at javaprimo.com or visit us on Main Street in historic downtown Arkadelphia. Java Primo Coffee House, Cafe, and more says, "Go Badgers!"
Welcome back to the Southern Bancorp Badger pregame show. Chris Babb visiting with Arkadelphia head coach Trey Shucker, brought to you by Austin Wingfield State Farm, 620 Pine Street, 870-246-2162. Coach, there's an old adage, the team makes the biggest improvement from week 1 to week 2. I know that you can say that, oh yeah, we had a loss, we're going to make a lot of improvement. You win that first game, you're like, hey, we're riding good. But coming back and making corrections that you talked about before the game or before the break is part of football. What are some of the adjustments that you see your guys have made this week as you go into tonight's game against Hot Springs? One
of the big things is just being consistent. Getting everybody on the same page, especially on offense. Just cleaning up the things here and there. We've got to play fast on every single play. We got to get every play means something, and we might have 9 guys doing something great, and then we have 2 guys, going half speed, and then it messes the rhythm up of the entire play. And so the biggest thing was just getting everybody to play full speed all the time, and then really focusing on each technique. Okay, playing with more technique at the wide receiver position, playing with more technique at the offensive line position, being more disciplined with our eyes from the quarterback position, getting downhill and continue to drive our feet on contact at the running back position, and getting into our check downs and the pass pro. Just small things here and there that you've got to put together to move the football. On defense, getting our eyes right in the secondary with our routes, covering routes. Linebacker, getting our eyes right with what we're reading on each individual play, and being consistent with the reaction of it. Getting to the football, getting our aiming points right on our tackling. So it all fits. We can have 9 guys doing a great job, and then 2, not necessarily doing a bad job, but not doing on the same page as everybody else, and it messes things up. So just being more disciplined in what we're doing.
Before the first game of the year, we saw teams have lots of turnovers, lots of penalties. Not a ton of turnovers. You had a couple, but some mental mistakes. You had some things that I know were corrected probably on the sideline, but definitely in film. But going into that second game, some of those things could also be taken care of just from having experience, because you do have a big senior class, but you also have some players who are playing their first time in positions.
We do. We've got a big senior class that's got a lot of playing experience. We've also got some young guys that are in the game quite a bit, if not starting for us, or guys that are playing a different position than they did last year. And so it's a learning curve, and there's a lot of learning and coaching going on. And, even though you've got playing experience, if you're at a different position, you've still got to get some playing experience at that position. So there's a lot of learning and coaching going on, and that was, really what we took away from last week from that, but we feel really good going into tonight. We expect a better showing.
Let's talk about tonight's opponent, the Hot Springs Trojans. Coach Burnett had his 4th or 5th year. I probably have been prepared for that when I brought it up. But Coach Burnett, each year that program has improved. I know they feel good about their program. They had a big win against Fountain Lake. Mm-hmm. They're going to compete in that 5A South. When you watch film on Hot Springs, what are some of the things you see maybe different from what you saw last year?
Well, first off, I would like to say, They are. They're the best Hot Springs team that I think he's had in the past 4 years. You know, they're a lot better than they were last year. They play cleaner football, and they play hard. They really do. They play really hard. You know, they're very skilled in their skill positions. They've got some really good athletes. A couple of them go both ways. They're big on the O-line, and they're big on the D-line. The D-line, they've got a motor. You know, they're going to come off the ball hard. They've probably got better ball get off than Camden did last week. The linebackers play well in space and tackle well. You know, the running back, they've got 2 running backs that they like to give the ball to, and they're really good players. Quarterback, he's a senior this year, and same one that started last year, but he's much improved. He's got a strong arm. They also use him to run the ball a little bit, and they do different things with him. So they're more dynamic, and you know, they're just a better football team this year for sure.
You know, it's a difference in the programs. Hot Springs, Coach Burnett trying to rebuild. So those players have seen some wins, have seen more wins than Hot Springs had before Coach Burnett got there, but they also have seen some losses. Your guys are used to seeing Arkadelphia win football games. So
right.
Just like Hot Springs is trying to get in those games and build confidence, your guys have seen Arkadelphia win games, but you do have guys in there who have not been a part of that, and they've got to go out there and do what you're supposed to do, all 11 on a play, to be able to put those wins. They're not just going to come.
That's right, and that's what we tell our kids every day. You know, nobody's going to give it to you.
Yeah.
You got to go earn it, and you've got to go work for it, and you're going to go take it. Every win that you get, you've earned. Nobody's ever going to go out there and just give you the win. And Hot Springs is definitely not going to. You know, those kids in that program, they got a big win last week. They feel good. They're 1-0. You know, we lost a tough one last week, so we're still searching for our first win. And you know, that's kind of the mentality all week is, hey, we've got to get back in the win column. You know, yes, it was our first game, wasn't the showing we wanted, but you know, tonight's an opportunity to go 1-0 this week, and that's just been the whole goal all week is go 1-0 this week, no matter what. Doesn't matter how we do it, get the win.
Let's talk about some of the individual performances last week. Several players you mentioned were out. Jay Sean missed the entire second half. Several of your skill positions missed a big portion of the third quarter. But on the other side of that, some of those came back, were able to come back. Obviously, Jay Sean was not able to. We're glad that he was good over the weekend and got back into the mix. But talk about Braylon Bailey. Braylon, I thought, just really kind of showed a willingness. Talking to one of the players, I said, you know, y'all good? He said, yeah. He said, we're just down there. But Braylon in particular said, I'm not missing the rest of this game. I'm going to get back in there, and that's a kind of you know, just focus you have to have. And I thought Braylon, and you talked about it on the TV show earlier in the week. Braylon kind of exemplified what you have to have in order to have a winning brand of football.
That's exactly right. Braylon, he didn't play much of the third quarter, but he got to a point where, hey, I'm going back on the field and I'm going to go do something. Yeah. I'm going to go make a play. So he came back out and we gave him the ball, and he ran with his hair on fire. You know, he had 2 really good runs back to back and got the ball in the end zone, and you know, just showed that willingness and that fight to overcome adversity and compete the whole game. Doesn't matter what the score says. Does not matter if we're winning or losing. Braylon Bailey's going to be one of those guys that, hey, I'm going to play. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to give everything I've got. I'm going to fight all game long.
Personnel-wise, let's talk about that real quick. You were missing some players last week, and then you obviously those had to miss injuries, missed some of the part of the game. But talk about the health of your team as we go into tonight's game.
Yeah, so overall, you know, from last week, a lot of our injuries per se were cramps. You know, we've done a better job, and we've emphasized more on taking care of our bodies off the field. You know, yes, we gave them a lot more water breaks this week. Trying to keep them hydrated, but we've also done some things to try to get them to hydrate throughout the week. You know, right now.
Actually try to listen to what adults are telling them.
Right. Yeah. So it's crazy.
I'm a parent. I can say that.
It's crazy. But yeah, so we've got water jugs to quite a few of our guys today, and we've just been really emphasizing you got to eat every meal. You've got to hydrate all throughout the day, not just at lunchtime,
right?
All throughout the day, because I mean, all these days are hot.
Yeah,
I mean they are, and you got to get enough sleep at night. That's another one. You know, that's the recovery every night. You can't go to sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning. You can't do it and then expect good results out of your body. So, get enough sleep, eat, hydrate.
Yep. All right, Badgers and the Trojans kick off just a few minutes away. Our thanks to Arkadelphia head coach Trey Shucker for joining us as he does each week. Sponsored by Austin Wingfield State Farm, 620 Pine Street, 870-246-2162. You're tuned in to the Southern Bancorp Badger pregame show, and we'll be back closer to kickoff after this timeout. Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler CPA is a longtime supporter of the Arkadelphia Public School District. Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler has established a reputation for providing clients with outstanding services that include auditing, accounting, and tax and business consulting. Contact Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler today at 870-246-4563 or by visiting them at 305 Professional Park Drive in Arkadelphia. Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler says, "Go Badgers!"
Doctors Gary and Rob Rucker are proud sponsors of this Arkadelphia Badger broadcast. Dr. Gary and Rob Rucker, supporting the Badgers since 1996.
The Board of Directors of South Central Arkansas Electric Cooperative believes in the necessity of high-speed internet access in rural South Central Arkansas. South Central Connect was created to fill a need other internet providers are not able to provide to our area. South Central Connect, through our local cooperative, brings the necessity of internet service to your house, much like they did electricity in the 1930s. Sign up today at southcentralconnect.com or call 855-269-3429.
Get real attention on your auto insurance. Get real auto, home, and life insurance. Get Farm Bureau Insurance.
Call Clark County Farm Bureau today at 870-246-4554.
Financial investments are very important, but so are the investments of time, patience, and encouragement our young athletes receive from their coaches, teachers, and mentors. Blake Bell, one of your Arkadelphia Edward Jones financial advisors, understands this. That's why Blake Bell of Edward Jones is a proud sponsor of the Arkadelphia Badgers and the Badger Pride Marching Band on ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com. For all of your investment needs, call 870-246-5974 or visit EdwardJones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Roadrunner is fueling good 1 gallon at a time, including for our very own Arkadelphia Badgers. When you fill up at Roadrunner's designated spirit pump on West Pine Street, 3 cents of every gallon will go straight back to our school. We can use these dollars to support our academics, athletic organizations, and other student projects. This fall, Roadrunner is giving us the option to fill our tanks and our cups with a free fountain drink when we show our spirit pump receipt. In just 2 years, Roadrunner has donated more than $75,000 to local schools through this community-based initiative. We can't drop the ball now. This football season, let's head to Roadrunner to support our Badgers. Stop by the West Pine Street store to fill up, grab 2 for $2 candy bars, or get a much-needed energy boost with Mountain Dew, Red Bull, or freshly brewed coffee. Follow at Roadrunner Stores or visit roadrunnerstores.com for more information.
Our thanks to Chase Hartzell. Dr. Jeff Root will be along in just a moment. You're watching the Southern Bancorp Badger pregame show, and the Badgers, a few minutes early, are ready to go from Tommy Holt Field. Joe Reese Stadium in Hot Springs. The Arkadelphia Badgers 0-1 on the season. Hot Springs Trojans 1-0. Chase, Hot Springs had a big win last week against Fountain Lake. Arkadelphia looking to rebound from a season-opening loss at home against Camden Fairview. This is a Hot Springs team, as you heard Coach Shucker say, that has progressively gotten better under head coach Darrell Burnett.
They really have, and it really has been a work in progress for the Trojans. You know, they've been a few rough years there through the mid-2010s, but really there in 2019 we really saw the Trojans break through with a big run in the regular season that almost led them to a conference championship. They were, in fact, playing for a share in the conference championship in the last game of the regular season, with the Lakeside Rams defeating them in that one to claim the undisputed conference championship. But this is still a very good team. They're going to be very aggressive. They're a very athletic program, and you know they've had that athletic talent for several years, but we've really seen it break through on the gridiron here in the last couple years, and they've really proved to be a tough team to beat out of the 5A South consistently in the 5A South playoff picture through the last couple years.
Isaac Sheeler, the senior quarterback, Pierce Smalley, the senior, do everything, offense and defense. The names you'll see for Hot Springs. For Arkadelphia, Arkadelphia is going to look to get Jay-Sean Davis active. Jay-Sean only played a half last week. Arkadelphia is going to really try to get and need to get Jay-Sean Davis active in this offense to open up the passing game for Donovan Whitten.
Yep, and it's going to be an uphill climb tonight, perhaps, for the Badgers. This is a very good defense here for Hot Springs. Really been one of their strengths over the last several years. It allowed just 76 total yards a week ago, including less than a yard per carry against the Fountain Lake Cobras. They don't like to give up too many yards on the ground, so it'll definitely be interesting to see how that battle unfolds as this contest takes place.
It is 7 o'clock, and the teams are on the field. The scoreboard still says 3:20, and that's how we timed our pregame show, Dr. Root. So we'll do the smooth transition and bring in the football voice, or the voice of the Badgers, the football Dr. Jeff Root. And please excuse the headset handoff.
Hey, we do what we need to do, right? The scoreboard and the clock on our watch is not exactly the same, and the players believe the watch more than the scoreboard. It still says 3:05, but I think they're going to reset it because Arkadelphia is lining up to kick off, and Hot Springs is already lined up to receive this kickoff. As Chase and Chris were saying, this is a different Hot Springs team, and they showed it last week with that huge victory over Fountain Lake. A lot of offense, 2 really good sophomores, a couple of great seniors as well, including their quarterback. And so Arkadelphia has its work cut out for it tonight, and yet Arkadelphia ready to bounce back. Good week of practice, great attitudes on the team, ready to bounce back. We'll see what Arkadelphia can do on defense first because the Badgers will kick off. Arkadelphia is set for that kick, and we're going to be underway. They've reset the clock on the scoreboard, and we're ready for action. The kickoff is high. It is short. It's going to be allowed to bounce at the 20, bobbled, picked up, and now return to the 25, 26-yard line and down there. Somebody's balloon just got lost and flew right above us, but I don't think there's a balloon intentionally flying past us, but we've got a lot of fun here in this press box. It's a great view for us, and we think you're going to have a great view of the game tonight. Also, a beautiful field on a historic stadium. We're in a historic press box, I would say, but a really fine press box in terms of giving us a place to see the game and see the game well. So Arkadelphia is on defense first, and here comes the quarterback for Hot Springs, Isaac Schuler. Isaac Schuler is a senior, and he started since his sophomore year. Run right up the middle. There's some room there, and knocked down after a gain of 4, maybe 5 yards is Perry Jones. Perry Jones, only a sophomore. Chase, nice combination of seniors and sophomores on this team for Hot Springs.
Yep, they have a lot of depth on this team, both, with young talent and, some veteran talent here like Schuler, and they'll definitely look to utilize it here over the course of this contest.
They'll set it up on second down. Send a man in motion. Arkadelphia responds defensively. Another man coming in motion, and now somebody moved early, and it's going to be 5 yards against Hot Springs. That's one thing that in the past has been a problem for Hot Springs in that they have had too many penalties. We see the first one on just the second play from scrimmage.
Yep, and we even saw it last week, nearly 200 penalty yards for the Trojans in that win. Didn't really play a factor into the final results of the game, but especially if you get into those close contests, that can come back to bite you.
15 penalties last week in the first half of action in a game that they still won in a blowout. So, second down and 11 now as they'll line up, and dropping the ball as the quarterback. He'll pick it up. He'll fire it out to a receiver who's got some room just to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he won't do it. Another loss on the play. Big hit by Arkadelphia.
Yeah, and that was just a great job there of Arkadelphia capitalizing there on the miscommunication from the Hot Springs offense. Good job there from Schuler trying to recover. He did make the pass, but Arkadelphia had the play snuffed out by the time he made the throw. Great tackle there by Alex Turley leading the charge for the Badgers.
So it's third down, very long now for Schuler, and he'll look to pass. His leading receiver last week, only a sophomore, TJ Brogdon, 7 catches for 164 yards. He's got quite good speed. He's number 18 as you are looking at the screen. 4 receivers in the formation, running back next to his quarterback, but they want to throw, and they're looking downfield. Lots of time to throw, and he throws deep, but the ball is almost intercepted and dropped. It's incomplete. Almost intercepting the ball for Arkadelphia was Nick Williams, but the play was made early because either they tipped it or it slipped out of the quarterback's hand. It kind of failed to get to its intended target.
Yep, and either way, just a great stop there from Arkadelphia. This is an offense that put up 531 total yards on offense a week ago against Fountain Lake, so a great job here by the Badgers, not only stopping them but pushing them backwards on the first drive of the game.
Amir Andrews will set up for the punt on 4th and very long. He gets the kick away. It's a high kick, and it won't go very far. Arkadelphia just needs to get out of the way, bounces at the 30. It's still rolling inside the 25. Arkadelphia has tremendous field position after that very short punt.
Yep, and I think it might have actually gone back a little bit. We may have seen some negative yardage on that punt. Very close to the line of scrimmage for that last play for the Trojans, but still just great field possession here for the Badgers. Right now already on the cusp of the red zone.
There's a little bit of a breeze tonight, and it's only 88 degrees, so it's warm, but not all that hot. And the sun is not really out, just overcast enough to make it pleasant a night. Running play right up the middle, a little bit of yardage, but that big defensive line defends reasonably well. It's a short gain for Arkadelphia on first down. On the carry for Arkadelphia, the first of several tonight for Jay-Sean Davis.
Yep, and Jay-Sean Davis last week had to exit the game early, had 7 carries that went for 28 yards. Camden Fairview did a pretty good job of containing him, but there late in the first half, we saw some strong runs for him. He got some good blocks, and was able to make some good plays.
And they'll run off tackle this time. He'll break 1 tackle, break 2, but still go down at the 20-yard line. So third down coming, and the Badgers are going to need about 6.
Yep, and this is where you decide if you go back to the ground trying to pick up that first down. Hot Springs is very strong there up front, but you've also got Witten now, who's got a strong arm. He's made some really good, accurate passes. So a couple different things you could do here, but with the single man in the backfield, looks like they're going to go to the air with Witten.
Back to pass. Witten looks to his left. He throws. It's complete. That's enough for a first down. Trip Campbell on the far side at the 10-yard line. Good pass, good catch. Campbell has already shown he's got very good hands.
Yep, and he had 4 catches for 30 yards a week ago. Maybe an overlooked player in that contest, but he had a really solid game for the Badgers and did a great job contributing.
Arkadelphia lines up. Jay-Sean Davis will take the pitch. In motion he came, and he'll gain some yardage. They're going to pull him down as a flag goes down. He's short of the 5-yard line. Let's see what the call is going to be. We are waiting for the official to give us a signal. A holding call against Arkadelphia, so a tough call against the Badgers. He came from the left, took the pitch in front of him. Technically a pass, and then ran to the right, but a holding call in the interior line in there, and it's going to push Arkadelphia back to the between the 17 and 18-yard line. Call it closer to the 18-yard line. Davis this time to the left of his quarterback, Donovan Witten. Witten with the big arm last week. Looks to have a big night tonight, too. He wants to pass. Looking deep. He'll throw it to the end zone. It is caught. That is incomplete. He couldn't hang on. Oh, I thought he had it. Excuse me for calling that a catch because he just couldn't pull it in, trying to keep his feet inbounds and couldn't quite pull it in on the play.
It would have been a tough play to make there, but still a great throw there from Witten, showing the accuracy. Was able to throw it right to his man in the middle of 3 Trojan defenders, but put it where just his guy could get it. Sadly, couldn't stay inbounds to make the catch.
And flags go down just as the play is underway. Going to be offsides call against Hot Springs, and that's going to be helpful to the Arkadelphia Badgers. Almost a touchdown, but they've still got an opportunity. It is only second down. Scoreboard says first down, but the box says second, and I believe second is correct. Chris confirms that. Second down is correct. Second and goal. That is correct. And they're going to pitch it once again, this time running play for Bailey, and he's going to make yardage up near the 11-yard line. Again, well defended by Hot Springs.
Yep, they do a great job of defending the run, and a great play there against a guy who had over 100 yards rushing last week against Camden Fairview.
Third down and goal. They got to have 12 yards because of that holding penalty. They've been fighting from behind here in the last 2 plays. Back to pass, Witten. Looking to the end zone. He'll fire to the middle of the field, overthrowing his intended receiver, Bailey, and Arkadelphia has fourth down coming. The wind may have picked that up a bit. We noticed it picked up here in the press box coming through the window at about the same time that ball sailed on the quarterback a little bit. To the left side for Arkadelphia goes Latonio Hughes, also Bailey, and far on the left side is Trip Campbell. On the right side for Arkadelphia is Loy. Witten chased out of the pocket, wants to throw, gets it to the end zone all alone. Folks, that is a touchdown Arkadelphia. Touchdown Arkadelphia to wide receiver Trip Campbell with the touchdown.
And a great way to open up the game for the Badgers. Witten there feeling the pressure, but he was able to roll out of the pocket, threw across his body right to his man in the corner. Great catch there by Campbell, tapping his toes and getting the score for the Badgers.
Extra point attempt coming. Kick is up, and it is good. Arkadelphia 7, Hot Springs 0 with 7:58 left in the first quarter. I hesitated a moment, Chase, because the officials were a little late in calling that a touchdown. I guess they had to make sure that he caught it and had control before he stepped out of bounds. The pass was right on target, but the pass was also near the sideline in the end zone. But he kept his foot in bounds, made the touchdown catch. Trick Campbell, 2 catches on that drive and 1 for a touchdown.
Yep, and he's having a great game here tonight. Started off with a pretty solid performance against Camden Fairview. Looking to build on that right here tonight.
Don't you love that graphic? Thank you, Chris Babb. Improvements every week, right? Farm Bureau, we appreciate you for sponsoring that touchdown.
And now Hot Springs facing a situation they have yet to face this year, and that is trailing in a game. In the past, the Trojans have struggled when they're down on the scoreboard trying to get back into the ball game. But as we said, this is a brand new Trojan squad out here this year, so we'll see how they respond here in the first quarter, down by 7.
Good start by the Badgers, a team looking to come back after last week's loss. Trojans are a good team. Don't expect a blowout tonight, as we have sometimes seen with the Badgers beating Hot Springs. Hot Springs has some offensive firepower. Here's a kickoff return across the 25. Well defended, though, and he'll be knocked down at the 30-yard line. And the offense is back on the field. Once again, the offense is led by a senior who started since his sophomore year, Isaac Schuler, and he had a good week last week. His leading receiver has not caught a pass yet. 7 catches in the first week, 164 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns for T.J. Brogdon, who's only a sophomore.
Yeah, but it's pretty interesting. Both of them had breakout seasons in their sophomore year, so now the former sophomore breakout thrown to his sophomore target. We'll see if they can make some magic here tonight.
Here's a running play, a nice cut, and about 5 yards on the carry. On the carry that time for Hot Springs was Robert Lanier. He's a senior.
And the Badgers doing a pretty good job here in the early going, containing a running game that had over 8 yards a carry against Fountain Lake. They ran for nearly 300 rushing yards total, ended up with 291 on the night a week ago.
Second down, 5 yards to go. They want to pass it to the flat. It goes. This is Brogdon. Brogdon, after the catch, has some yardage. He's got speed. That young sophomore got a first down, made it out to about the 45-yard line. They might give him the 46-yard line. Might be a sophomore, but he's a fast sophomore.
Yep, and we knew it was only a matter of time before they'd make that connection. They did it time and again against Fountain Lake a week ago.
Got to figure that they turned that short pass into long touchdowns last week. Here's a running play again, coming to the near side, and Arkadelphia is all over it. Arkadelphia's defense traditionally now has done a fine job of running to the football, led that time by Landon Kewen.
Yep, and Kewen did a great job there of getting off of his block. Was able to get to the ball carrier quickly and made a stop right at the line of scrimmage, if not right behind it. It's either no gain or a loss of about half a yard.
So second and long for Schuler and the Hot Springs offense. Arkadelphia leading 7-0 halfway through the first quarter tonight. Second possession for Hot Springs. A little bit of pressure. He throws deep. It's incomplete. The receiver fell down, and a few of the fans on the home side wanted interference, but the Arkadelphia player just simply went up for the ball, and the Hot Springs receiver just tripped and fell. So it is third down and long. That's the kind of situation that Arkadelphia likes. They might send somebody after the quarterback or just depend on their very good defensive line to put some pressure on Schuler.
Yep, and they've done a great job of getting to the quarterback early, forcing him to make some passes they maybe wouldn't like to make, or even some ones they'd like to have back. But just a great job getting pressure thus far from the defensive line.
Third down and about 10 and a foot. Schuler wants to pass, looks to the flat, and he'll throw a short pass. Run after the catch is going to get a first down. This is a good run after the catch by the running back Lanier, and it's a first down. He made a beautiful cut. It looked like he wasn't going to get anything. The Badgers had players in the area, but Chase, a good cut back to the inside. May have been aided by a blocking penalty. Let's see. There is a flag down at the line of scrimmage on the far side. Let's see what that call is going to be. And it is against Hot Springs. That's coming back. We are on the home side, and that's why you hear some booing in the background. It's a better Hot Springs home crowd than we've seen in recent years, and that's a good sign for the program, but it's a bigger crowd on the visitor side. Arkadelphia really traveled well, as always.
Yep, this is just a very dedicated fan base who has been there for their team thick and thin. A lot of success in the last several years does help quite a bit. But just a great fan base coming out here from Arkadelphia here tonight in the Spa City. And they're looking to help their Badgers to victory here tonight.
It's third down and 20. Brogdon is the receiver far to the right side near the sideline, and they're going to look for him. He'll throw it across the middle, though, get a receiver, but that receiver is it. Oh, he broke a tackle, and he might go. Breaking the tackle to the 20, to the 10, brought down inside the 10-yard line. A nice job of running after the catch for Kendrick Somerville. A really, really nice run after he avoided a tackle. It looked like it would be fourth down. Instead, it's first and goal.
Yep, and just a great play there. Great job responding to adversity following the blocking the back penalty. That can be a deflator, but the Trojans respond there with a great pass. Great step back there from the wide receiver, getting some extra yardage and almost taking it to the house, but a good job there by Latonio Hughes making the open field tackle.
Hakeem Dorsey is checked in the backfield for Hot Springs, and he's going to get the carry. He's looking for a place to go, avoids one tackler, can't avoid the next three. Arkadelphia will bring him down, led that time by Jay Sean Davis, who's checked in to play some defense. They'll look to the sideline to get this call. A big play for Hot Springs gives them a chance to tie this game. It's 7-0 Arkadelphia. 5:25 left, clock running. We're in the first quarter. This is the second drive for Hot Springs. They just overcame a 3rd and 20 with a big pass play. Now they're going to run again right at Arkadelphia. He'll cut to the outside. He's got some room to the 5. He stumbles, but he makes it. That's a touchdown. Beautiful cut again. Good work by Hot Springs. They've often had to change direction, Chase, but they've been able to do it to good effect, and that touchdown gives them 6. An extra point's going to tie it.
Yep, and what can you say there except great job there by Perry Jones. Great field vision. Saw that he didn't have any space to work there up the middle and to the right side, so he finds the opening on the left side, follows it all the way to the end zone. Great play there from Hot Springs, and as you just said, Jeff, now just a PAT away from tying this game up.
Extra point attempt is coming from a young man who is not on my roster. But here's the kick. It's a line drive shot, and it is good. So this game is tied. Arkadelphia 7, Hot Springs 7, 5:09 left, first quarter, and we'll be back after this. This game is tied at 7. Arkadelphia grabbed the lead with a short drive after a short punt. One possession so far in the game for the Badgers, and they have a touchdown. Hot Springs got a touchdown on its second possession, overcoming a couple of penalties with big plays, and then a nice run for the score.
Yep, and again, we were talking about it before that last drive. How would the Trojans respond to adversity? And they responded very well thus far, tying the game back up after giving up the early score.
Short kickoff, returnable. It's going to bounce at the 25, roll. Now it's picked up, but there's nowhere to go. Breaking one tackle and making it to the 27 is the Arkadelphia return man. A brief face mask, but not enough, I think, to make the call. On the return for Arkadelphia is D'Angelo Buckley, the sophomore. Ball at the 28-yard line, first down and 10 for Arkadelphia. You could see from here the head snapped a little bit, but he just didn't hang on very long, and the official decided not to make the call. And we have a break in action, and let's keep it right here, Chase, and talk about the fact that Arkadelphia has a much longer distance to cover, but the Badgers did score on their first possession.
Yep, and it was just great ball movement all the way around. Did face a little bit of adversity with a penalty there, facing a long second and goal, and then even forced all the way to 4th down, but a great job there by Witten rolling out, finding his man. And the Badgers got the early score to take the early lead in this one. Just a great job by both teams really of responding to adversity thus far.
Ball at the 28-yard line of Arkadelphia. And the Badgers got a touchdown pass on its first possession. That pass going, of course, from their very fine junior quarterback Donovan Witten to the corner of the end zone where he found his receiver Trip Campbell, a junior, picked up the touchdown. Arkadelphia's extra point put them up 7-0, and then just moments ago, a touchdown by Hot Springs after a 3rd and 20 turned into a long gainer when Arkadelphia had a chance to make a tackle and create a 4th down, but missed the tackle. And then a long run inside the 10 after that. A couple of plays later, a touchdown run. Witten on 1st down, wants to pass. He'll fire it across the middle. That's complete. That's Loy. He breaks the tackle. He's across the 50. What a big play by Loy. Made a good catch. Stayed up after being hit by 2 Trojans and got a 1st down at the 46 of Hot Springs.
Yep, and Lloyd just doing what he's been doing his entire varsity career. Getting open and making some great plays. Last week he had 5 receptions for 94 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Badgers. Witten's top target.
Donovan Witten looks to the sideline. Hot Springs refused to jump off sides moments ago, so he looked to the sideline. Now he's going to reset, and here he comes. He'll fire it to the flat. That's complete. Broken tackle at the 38, inside the 35, knocked out of bounds, but not knocked down is Jay-Sean Davis. Takes a lot to knock him down.
Yep, and you saw it right there, the strength giving him that extra yard or 2 there as he tried to get to the outside and out of bounds, and that was enough to get him the 1st down.
13-yard gain, 1st down and 10 for Arkadelphia. Moving the ball quite well in 2 plays. They're well into Hot Springs territory. Davis, to the right of his quarterback, takes the handoff. He's hit, but he will make yardage across the 30-yard line. Going to be a gain of at least 3, maybe 4. We'll see where they spot the ball. Going to be right on the 30, so a gain of 3. It's 2nd down and 7.
And it's early, and we maybe haven't seen him break off too many long runs, but Davis doing a great job here in the early going compared to last week. Finding the hole, great job by the offensive line, creating what space they could against a very good defensive line.
To the right side, Loy and Latonio Hughes. Running play, though, right up the middle. Big hole for Davis. He's to the 10. He's to the 5. He is in the end zone. Touchdown, Arkadelphia.
Well, speaking of big runs, there it is right there. Jay-Sean Davis breaks right up the middle. Great blocks there from the Badgers O-line, and he got into open space.
Yeah,
Just
watch this replay right here. Stayed on his feet after that hit at the 3-yard line. Stumbled a bit, but made it to the end zone before he went down. Beautiful run by Davis. Extra point is up, and the extra point is good. Arkadelphia 14, Hot Springs 7, 3:28 remaining in the first quarter. A very active first quarter. That is a touchdown for the Badgers, sponsored by Farm Bureau. We'll be back with more Badger football after this.
Locally owned and operated, Welch Funeral Home has been serving the Arkadelphia community since 2005. Our goal at Welch Funeral Home is to offer every family that will allow us to serve them the most caring, dignified, professional service at the most affordable price. With over 40 years of experience in the funeral home industry, owner Tim Welch and Welch Funeral Home have also been longtime supporters of the Arkadelphia Badgers and Lady Badgers. Contact Welch Funeral Home at 870-230-1400 or visit them at 202 South 4th Street near downtown Arkadelphia.
Arkadelphia's 72-yard touchdown drive required only 4 plays, Chase, and it's 14-7 Arkadelphia. We're here in the second quarter with 3:28 left. I'm sorry, first quarter, 3:28 left.
Yep, and just a great job there by the Arkadelphia Badgers, now proving, how well they can move the ball down the field and how quick they can do it as well. Didn't get to see that too much against Camden Fairview, but this offense definitely has quite a bit of quick strike ability.
High short kickoff. It's going to be fielded and returned from the 23-yard line. This is Brogdon. He'll make it to the 30 and be dragged down by about 4 Badgers. Gang tackling. Several Badgers in on the play, including Tucker Guy. So Schuler finds himself back on the field as the Hot Springs quarterback and once again behind. He tied it up on the last possession for Hot Springs, leading his team down the field. He'll have to try to do it again because Arkadelphia scored in only 4 plays from 72 yards out, and the Badgers have a 14-7 lead. Very entertaining game so far.
It has been. It's shaping up to be a shootout right now, and the question was, how would Hot Springs respond to being down early? Hadn't trailed up to this point in the season, but they responded very well, marching right down the field and picking up the score. We'll see if they repeat that effort here.
Schuler gives it to his running back, Lanier. Lanier really working hard as Coach. Yeah, I was watching to see if that was a late hit almost on Arkadelphia, but it was not a hit. I think he hit his own player as he ran in from his safety position, but it was a gain of a couple on the play. Good hard running, though, by Robert Lanier. Trey Shucker told us in the pregame show that this Hot Springs team, they play very, very hard. Here's a run to the outside, a gain, a broken tackle, and now a tackle by Alex Turley. A flag goes down at the spot of the tackle. That carry was by Robert Lanier once again. Lanier did not have a big game last week, but he's looked like a all-conference player so far tonight for Hot Springs, and that's going to be a penalty against Arkadelphia. 5-yard face mask penalty. That'll move it out to the Hot Springs 47-yard line, and it's first down and 10. Schuler lines up at quarterback. Again, a 3-year starter for Hot Springs. Last week he had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. 14 of 26. On first down and 10, long snap count. He's going to send a man in motion, and a flag goes down. And that's going to be a procedure penalty against the offense. It's going to move Hot Springs back for a 1st and 15. This has been a problem for Hot Springs. 15 penalties in the first half last week. They still won it 52-7 against Fountain Lake. But penalties against Arkadelphia is going to hurt you.
Yep, and the Badgers have done a pretty good job over the last few years exploiting penalties and using it to their advantage. Hot Springs, they faced an early penalty that set them back, but they've responded to it before. They'll look to do it again here. But definitely dug themselves into a little bit of a hole here, now 1st and 15.
Yeah, let me rephrase that. Hot Springs penalties against Arkadelphia is going to hurt Hot Springs. And now we've got motion on both sides, but Hot Springs moves first, and that's 5 more yards. So 2 self-inflicted 5-yard penalties, and it's first down and 20 for the Trojans.
And, maybe in like matchups like last week, where it's 52-7, those penalties don't come back to get you. But in close games like this one, they very well can.
Handoff, hit at the line of scrimmage, a gain of 2, maybe 3 yards on the play. Well defended by Arkadelphia. Alex Turley there again with a teammate. And it's second down and still very, very long. They're going to mark the ball down at the 39-yard line, just short of that. So it is 2nd and 19. Schuler maybe looking for Brogdon this time. Under some pressure, he fires it downfield, overthrown and incomplete, but a flag goes down. By the official in the middle of the field, a flag went down, and since the Hot Springs receiver went down, we might see this penalty come against Arkadelphia. We'll wait for the official call. There was a collision as the ball flew over their heads. And now the official I think he's going to give us a call. Well, we have no call yet, so it makes you wonder. Yeah, it's going to be against Arkadelphia. It took a little while to get the call, but it is a pass interference call. They'll mark it off across the 50. So Hot Springs has ventured into Arkadelphia territory on their 3rd possession, scored on the 2nd possession, lost yardage on the 1st possession tonight here in Hot Springs. They're going to mark the ball at the 46-yard line of Arkadelphia. It's still 2nd down, but it's 2nd down now and only 3. And 5 yards again against Hot Springs. Boy, everybody's moving a little too fast.
And that makes 5 plays in a row with penalties between the two teams. Well,
the officials are getting a workout, and let me just say that all 5 were earned. There's not a mistake here. It's not an overactive crew at all, just mistakes on the Hot Springs offense and one mistake on the Arkadelphia defense. Ball back at the 49-yard line of Hot Springs. Second down now and 8. Well, between 7 and 8, we'll say. Schuler at quarterback will pass it. Looking across the middle, he fires it to the flat and missed his intended receiver. They also knocked him down as Arkadelphia got to the quarterback. There is a flag on the far side, and we're waiting for the official call, but it looks like maybe they had a lineman downfield. Well, I think that's the call. We're getting an explanation now to the coaches. I think Arkadelphia has decided to decline. That's why I didn't have the white hat didn't give us the signal yet, because they're waiting to see if Arkadelphia would take it. They declined the penalty. They'll take the incomplete pass, and so Arkadelphia would rather take the down than the yardage. So it's third down, and they're going to need between 7 and 8 yards. 1:02 left, first quarter. Hot Springs 14, Arkadelphia 14, Hot Springs 7. Gee, that's a serious mistake. Arkadelphia 14, Hot Springs 7. We'll say it one more time. Third down for the Trojans. No flags yet. The play's underway, and Arkadelphia brings a blitz, and it works beautifully. On the blitz for Arkadelphia, a couple of guys, including Tucker Guy, the sophomore linebacker.
Yep, and Guy did a great job there bringing the pressure. It looked like Landon Kuhn was joining him on the blitz. Great takedown in the backfield. Badgers continuing to get pressure on Schuler early in this contest, and now forcing the Trojans to punt here as the final seconds dwindle off the clock here in the first quarter.
Raul Rodriguez is in to do the punting for Hot Springs. They bring a man on a little late. Arkadelphia wants to go after the kick. High snap, but he gets the kick away, and Badgers are going to let it bounce. It'll bounce, take a little bit of a Hot Springs roll inside the 35 to the 33-yard line, but Arkadelphia will have the ball back when we come back. We have just ended the first quarter of play. It's Arkadelphia 14, Hot Springs 7, and the Badgers will have the ball when we come back after this.
At Southern Bancorp, we are wealth builders for everyone. We see building wealth as helping people succeed in creating strong financial futures. For some, it's having tools to build credit and buy a first home. For others, working with our award-winning SBA team to launch or grow a small business. And still others might use our unique savings plan today to save for tomorrow's dreams. Wherever you are on your wealth building journey, Southern Bancorp can help. Stop by or visit banksouthern.com to get started. Southern Bancorp, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is Jeff Root. Along with me is Chase Hartzell. Chase is back home in Hot Springs, but he didn't go to Hot Springs High. It was across town at Lakeside. Nice to be back in your hometown, though, especially when we had the pregame meal at McLeod's.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that's always a great meal to have here back in the hometown. I have a lot of memories here at this field as a graduate of Lakeside High School, including a couple years ago when the Lakeside Rams were taking on the Hot Springs Trojans in the final game of the regular season, Lakeside winning that one to clinch their first undisputed conference championship in 44 years. It was quite a season for the Rams, but it was also quite a season for the Trojans, who really had a breakout season in 2019, led by then sophomore Schuler. Here he is in his senior year leading the Trojans, a very good Trojan squad coming onto the field for Hot Springs in 2021.
You're going to have some great Badger memories here before long.
Absolutely. And
second game on the broadcast. Glad to have you with us, Chase. Arkadelphia has some great restaurants, too. Andy's Restaurant is one of those. They love to feed those biscuits to the Badgers, and we love them, too. We're glad to have Andy's Restaurant as a sponsor. Donovan Whitten at quarterback, having a good night for Arkadelphia. The Badgers have had 2 possessions and 2 touchdowns. Here's a pitch, and to the far side goes Bailey. He will make close to first down. They might be a yard short. We'll see where he stepped out, near the 40-yard line. Still, that's an awfully good gain on first down.
Yep, explosive play there from Bailey coming off of the sweep. And we saw him break into the open field like that a couple times last week. If he keeps getting opportunities like that, could prove pretty good.
Throw to the flat, incomplete. They tried to hurry the play there a bit at Chase and just made it a little too fast. Campbell dove for it. Wouldn't have been a gain even if he had caught it. So it's third down, but they only need about a half yard here. They spotted the ball at the 41, so they don't need very much to make a first down, and Mr. Davis is in the backfield. We might see him carry the football. 2 running backs in. Davis will block. Oh, Bailey takes it, but he's going to be thrown back. We'll see where they spot the ball. It's going to be fourth down, though, for the Badgers, as sprinting through the line was a defensive lineman. Oh, they're going to mark the loss all the way back to the Arkadelphia 39-yard line, so it's 4th and 3.
Yep, and just a great job there by the Hot Springs defensive line getting to Bailey. Bailey does a great job when he's working in the open field, but right there didn't even have an opportunity to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, just a missed block that time. Arkadelphia will line up to go for it, though, and let's see what the call is going to be. Now, Witten can certainly punt the ball, but he's also the quarterback, and he's lined up at quarterback and wants to throw. He'll fire the ball to the right. There's a catch. That's a first down. Loy across the 50 and more into Hot Springs territory.
Yep. And that right there shows you the confidence that Coach Shucker has in his offense. This is a very efficient offensive unit right there. You're not going to see too many teams go for it on their own 39-yard line, but Arkadelphia, they're converting in a big way. Great connection there to Loy from Witten.
Arkadelphia lines up about the 43-yard line of Hot Springs. Ooh, a quarterback draw right up the middle for Witten. He's a tough runner, and he will carry defenders for a first down. Good run by the quarterback.
Yep, it looks like we do have a penalty flag down on the field, though. Still a great run from Witten, who coming into the season not necessarily getting much attention for his legs, mainly for his arm, but he's definitely shown that he is a mobile quarterback as well. Made some great runs a week ago against Camden Fairview when he ran for 81 yards.
Wow, it's going to come back, though. Holding call against Arkadelphia. They'll spot the ball all the way back to the Arkadelphia 44-yard line, nullifying that good run by Witten. He'll line up now to throw the ball. Bailey and Campbell to the left side, the near side on your screen. 2 receivers to the far side, and that is Davis next to his quarterback Witten in the backfield. Witten throws to the near side. That's Campbell again with the catch. He'll break one tackle, break another tackle, and make it all the way to the 39-yard line. What a good run after the catch. Fighting for every yard. He gets Arkadelphia back into a good spot to try to pick up this first down.
Yep, and just a great play there by Campbell, the junior, setting the Badgers up for a second and manageable now following the penalty.
Yeah, quick snap, and Arkadelphia just wasn't set. Arkadelphia wanted a quick snap, but they just weren't set. So it's going to be 5 yards against Arkadelphia. Good idea to try to catch Hot Springs not ready, but not everybody was set. So 5 yards against the Badgers. And they'll line up again. Second down, 11 yards to go. Ball spotted at the 44-yard line of Hot Springs. Davis is the running back. 3 receivers to the far side this time. Campbell to the near side. Back to pass Witten. He fires across the middle. Ooh. Dropped. That time Loy, the sure-handed receiver, let it get to his chest before he got his arms around it.
Yep, and the ball looked like it was deflected right there, but it landed right in his hands. I think he was a little bit surprised, following the deflection, that it went straight to him. So that'll bring up third down now for Arkadelphia.
Third down and 11 for the Badgers. Arkadelphia scored on its first 2 possessions, now in the third possession, trying to convert on this third down. 2 receivers to the far right side, 2 to the near side. Running play, and this is Davis for some yardage. Not enough for a first down, but he got good yardage up to the 37-yard line. Fourth down coming. Arkadelphia has already converted on 1 fourth down on this possession. They'll have to do it again. This time they're 4 yards away. On 4th and 4, they line up quickly. Now they look to the sideline.
Yep, and a bit of a tendency breaker.
Loy and Hughes on the far side. Near side, Campbell and Bailey. Davis in the backfield with Witten. It's Davis. He's hit immediately, will not make a first down. It's Arkadelphia stopped on its 3rd possession. Offensive line just couldn't keep that big defensive line out of the backfield, and it's first down for Hot Springs.
Yep, and Arkadelphia there on 3rd and long with a bit of a tendency breaker. Running it on 3rd and long with Jay-Sean Davis. Jay-Sean with a great run there, making it a 4th and manageable. Maybe trying to build off the momentum there with another run right there, but Hot Springs snuffing it out from the start. Great play there from the Trojans' defensive line, and now it'll be Hot Springs football at their own 39-yard line.
That was a very big play by the Hot Springs defense because Arkadelphia looked momentarily like it was driving to take a 2-touchdown lead. Instead, it's still 14-7 Arkadelphia, 9:25 left before halftime. 2 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near side, and a tight end in the game. Back to pass is Schuler. He wants a deep pass. He's throwing long, and that ball is incomplete. Probably should have been caught by the sophomore Brogdon. He is a fast sophomore and had a step. Pass was good, but he couldn't quite pull it in.
Yep, and right there, broke into the open field. And sometimes, when you see the green grass ahead of you, you maybe get a little bit of ahead of yourself. And right there, a little bit of a bobble from the sophomore. It happens from time to time, though. Still a good setup there from the Trojans on offense.
2nd and 10, and they want to run the ball, but Arkadelphia meets him in the backfield. Turley's having a big game. Arkadelphia also got some help that time by its defensive lineman who was really in the backfield quickly, Max Wilson.
Yep, and Turley, just quite a game the young man is having here tonight. The senior linebacker coming back after missing last week's game, and he is making his impact felt here in the early going.
Ball at the 38-yard line. They lost a yard, so it's 3rd and 11 for the Trojans. In the backfield at running back is Akeem Dorsey, had 78 yards rushing last week. But Schuler is in a passing situation. Brogdon running next to him. He will fake that handoff and throw deep. He fires it across the middle. Ball is batted away. That's Hughes making a nice defensive play to break up that pass. The pass wobbled a bit. Better pass might have been a big gainer, but it gave time for Hughes to get there and break it up. And Hughes has tremendous speed. He can make up some yardage.
He does, and we talk about it a lot on special teams as well, but Hughes here using his speed to break up the pass there for what could have been a big gain. Perhaps if he even breaks into the open field, a touchdown that ties up this game. But just a great job there from Hughes catching up to the football, making sure that Hot Springs couldn't catch it, and now Hot Springs lining up for the punt.
Here's the kick. Nice punt this time. Not as high as the geese flying by, but it's still a nice punt. It's going to be allowed to roll across the 35. Flag down on the play. We've seen a lot of that. We'll see what that penalty is. The ball rolls dead at the 33 of Arkadelphia, but let's see. It's on the far side, and it's been a busy night for the officials. Goodness gracious. Arkadelphia has had its share of penalties, but it's been a problem in a major way for the first 2 weeks of the season for Hot Springs. Hot Springs defense is on the field. Arkadelphia's offense is huddled on the far side, but the officials have not indicated what this call is going to be. The officials are still talking about it. They are going to settle on yardage, and now they're going to explain it to Arkadelphia's head coach, Trey Shucker. Maybe a discussion of whether or not to take the penalty. Hopefully that's what the discussion is. You want the ball where it is, or are we going to do something different? No call yet about what the call is, but it appeared to me to be during the punt return or before the ball was dead, but we'll see. Long discussion about it. Nobody's pulled out a rule book yet. This is okay, though. You want a long discussion to make sure everybody's on the same page, right? All we need now is a microphone down there. We'll have to work on that so we can overhear this long discussion. If they want to know where to eat, we could give them help on that. While we are waiting for this call, and Chase, you feel free to dive in when you see a call, I want to tell you about the fact that Austin Wingfield State Farm is one of our sponsors, along with Blake Bell, Edward Jones, Blend Real Estate, and Kerry Garnett, our buddy out in San Diego, Chad Kesterson, Shelter Insurance, Clark County Farm Bureau, Dairy Queen. Oh, they are very close to opening. We're excited about that. Eccles Thompson and Kneebone, Gary and Rob Rucker, Israel Wardlaw, Farmers Insurance, and Java Primo. We have many more sponsors. We'll give you the full list and finish that list up soon. Now the Hot Springs coaches are getting an explanation, and the Trojans are backing up because this penalty is going to be marked off, I believe, after the ball went dead. So they're going to mark it off against Hot Springs. It's going to be 1st down and 10 for Arkadelphia, and they're going to spot the ball at the 48-yard line. We're going to get a rules interpretation from Chris Babb.
Yeah, it was the flag was after the punt, so the possession had already changed, and there was a flag, so they marked it from the end of that play. So Arkadelphia got the yardage after the end of the spot. I don't know why it took that long.
Yeah, you explained that much faster than the officials explained it to each other. Run up the middle by Davis is a good one to the 39-yard line. That's a good explanation, though. It gives Arkadelphia an advantage, and so did that run by Davis. Now back to pass. Rolling to his left is Whitten. He throws to the flat. That's a completion to Bailey. Bailey's hit immediately, but a nice gain on first down, and Arkadelphia continues to move. It would mean a lot, Chase, to get a 2-touchdown lead against Hot Springs, and Arkadelphia is rolling in that direction right now.
Yep, and Davis set the tone with a good run to start off the drive, and a good short pass there from Whitten to Bailey. That one picked up about 5 yards, and it'll be 2nd and 5 now for the Badgers, moving right along.
From the 34-yard line of Hot Springs, 2nd down and 5, Arkadelphia lines up. Ja'Shawn Davis to the right of his quarterback, Whitten. Whitten wants to pass. Looking downfield, he'll throw to the right. He's got an open receiver. He hits him, and that is a touchdown, Arkadelphia. On the reception for the Arkadelphia Badgers on the deep pattern was none other than Latonio Hughes with the touchdown for Arkadelphia. Now a 2-touchdown lead for the Badgers here in Hot Springs.
Yep, and right there, that's just a play, run to perfection. Hughes found the mismatch, got into the open field, beat his man downfield, and Whitten saw him right off the bat, throws a beautiful pass inside the 5, and Hughes just walking in to pick up the score for Arkadelphia.
Farm Bureau Arkadelphia Badger touchdown. Here's the extra point attempt coming. And flags go down before the kick. So we're going to see that kick over again. Spencer Allen is the kicker for Arkadelphia. Perfect last week. Perfect so far this week. But they blew the whistle, I believe, before he had a chance to kick it. Offsides against Hot Springs. And now they might just go for 2. You know, why wouldn't you? You're just 1.5 yards from the end zone.
Yep, and we'll see. That penalty could prove costly indeed. This ends up being a 15-point lead compared to a 14-point lead that would have come from the PAT.
All right, substitutions come in. Big players on both sides of the line. Running play by Davis is in. That 2-point conversion is good, and Arkadelphia has a lead now. 22-7, 15-point lead for the Badgers. 7:25 left. We're in the second quarter tonight, and we'll be back with more after this.
At Southern Bancorp, we are wealth builders for everyone. We see building wealth as helping people succeed in creating strong financial futures. For some, it's having tools to build credit and buy a first home. For others, working with our award-winning SBA team to launch or grow a small business. And still others might use our unique savings plan today to save for tomorrow's dreams. Wherever you are in your wealth building journey, Southern Bancorp can help. Stop by or visit banksouthern.com to get started. Southern Bancorp, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
We're back to the action as Arkadelphia has taken now a lead 22-7 against Hot Springs. 7:25 left in the second quarter. Here we are at Hot Springs High School, and Arkadelphia playing very, very well tonight, bouncing back from the loss last week. Also sponsoring our broadcast tonight, Mary and Martha's, Midian Digital Creations, Pediatrics Plus, Price & Company, Providence Veterinary Care, South Central Connect, Southern Bancorp, Southwest Auto Collection, Southwest Sporting Goods, Taylor King & Associates, Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler, Welch Funeral Home, and our new sponsor this week, Roadrunner. Welcome to all of those sponsors. Thank you to all of those sponsors, and we hope you're paying attention to just who it is that's supporting the Arkadelphia Badgers and Arkadelphia High School this year. It's a high, short kickoff, returnable, but it's going to bounce. Oh, and it takes a bounce away from the return man who wanted the ball, but it rolls out of bounds. So good field position for Hot Springs as the kickoff rolled out of bounds. Just an unlucky bounce that time.
Yep, and that happens sometimes. Looked like it was going to get a good roll there at first. Good idea there, try to kick it off to the far side there, but unfortunately, as you said, Jeff takes an unlucky bounce there, rolling out of bounds, and that'll give the Trojans slightly better field position here to start out their next drive.
And that helped a little bit. I don't think he would have made it out to the 35 necessarily. So first down and 10 for Hot Springs at its own 35-yard line. And the quarterback, Isaac Schuler, really has a little pressure now to try to come back. Oh, my goodness. Thought 4 Trojans move, and they did not snap the ball. Goodness gracious. Not everybody on the same page on the snap count that time for Hot Springs. They'll back up by 5 more. Talented teams that hurt themselves still have trouble winning, and although there's a lot of game left, Hot Springs has been its own worst enemy here on the last few possessions. 5 yards makes it 1st and 15, ball at the 30-yard line. Schuler, good leader for this team, a 3-year starter, finds himself down by 2 touchdowns. Running play. Ooh, here's a nice cut and a good run. Up to the 40, to the 43, 44-yard line. Arkadelphia had a tackle, I believe, by Ollie Ware. But a nice block on the edge and a good run. Having a good night is Robert Lanier, the senior running back.
And Lanier showing you what happens when you give him space. He's got a lot of speed, and he's pretty elusive out there. Did a great job there finding the hole. Followed his blocks and got a good pickup there, almost picking up the first down for the Trojans. Instead, it's going to be 2nd and very short.
From the 44-yard line, they just need 1, and there's a hit in the backfield. Now it's going to be 3rd down and 4, maybe 3 if they give him a good spot. Max Wilson in the backfield immediately.
And Landon Kewen on that one, reading it like a book, straight from the snap. Read the handoff and was able to get to the running back there. Great play, and now 3rd and medium for Hot Springs.
Yeah, they're going to need about 4. And there is a flag down, 5 more against Hot Springs. Goodness gracious. They're going to go back to the 36-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and 9. 3rd down and 9. Schuler looks to the sideline. Just having trouble getting everybody to know the snap count or react properly to one. On 3rd down and 9, Hot Springs wants to pass. Schuler looks across the middle under a lot of pressure, but he escapes it, and he's going to run to his left and make a 1st down. He's up to the 45 to the 50. 3 Badgers got to the backfield but didn't get to Schuler. A good run by the senior quarterback, and it's a 1st down for the Trojans.
And a great job there from Schuler, staying composed as the pocket was collapsing. We haven't seen it too much up to this point in the game, but right there, Schuler showing he's also dangerous with his legs, picking up the 1st down.
Running play to the right side, some room for that run to the 45, 43, 41 of Arkadelphia. What good hard running by the senior Robert Lanier.
And Lanier continuing to show what happens when you give him space. He gets another solid run right there, much like the one he had to start out the drive. Been a great night here for the senior Trojan.
Back to pass. They'll throw to the flat. Missed his intended receiver. Incomplete. And it is 3rd down, and they still need about 2 yards. Good 8-yard run on 1st down, but he missed his receiver on 2nd, so 3rd down and short. They've had success running to the right side. They've got a big tight end named Logan Comstock, who is a senior. He's going to line up this time on the left side. Let's see if the play will follow him. Schuler makes sure everybody knows the snap count. He walked up to the line of scrimmage to call it out. Now he's ready for the play. Here's the snap, running play, and this is going to be a nice spin and a fall forward for a 1st down. Hot Springs with a 1st down at the 39-yard line of Arkadelphia. On the carry, Deshaun Roberts.
Yep, and that was Dorsey on the carry for Hot Springs there. Looked like he might have gotten wrapped up close to the 1st down marker, but was able to spin out of it and falls forward for the 1st down. Just a solid run there from the Trojan junior.
Dorsey got 78 yards last week, averaged 7 yards per carry. Pass. Here is Schuler. He'll fire the ball deep downfield, and it's overthrown and incomplete down the right sideline. Second down and 10. Down to 5:11 left before halftime. Arkadelphia has a 22-7 lead, but Hot Springs would have some new life if they can get the last score before halftime and pull it to a 1-touchdown deficit. So Schuler, the senior quarterback, made a big run to pick up an important 1st down. And we'll see if he can throw the ball. Or no, they'll run this time with Dorsey again. Dorsey is hit near the line of scrimmage. 2-3 Badgers in on the tackle. Kewen is part of that tackle tandem along with Wilson. So it's 3rd down, and they still need, 6 yards, between 6 and 7. Good tackle by Kewen. Schuler at quarterback will hand it off. This is Dorsey again. He's got a good hard run, but not enough for a first down. It's going to be fourth down coming.
Yep, and maybe trying to break tendency there, going to Dorsey on the run on 3rd and long. Did pick up some solid yardage, but as you said, Jeff, a couple yards short of that first down marker. So we'll see what the Trojans line up with here facing 4th down.
They're going to change running backs, and Perry Jones, the sophomore, is going to check in.
And we've seen him in some power sets down there near the goal line, so maybe looking to go straight at the Badger defensive line here on 4th and short.
James Wisner is also in as a blocking back. They are going to run it to the right side. It comes, but a good tackle at the 30-yard line. I don't think that he got it. Let's see what the officials say. I believe he's about a half-yard short. He is. First down, Arkadelphia. Big tackle, big play by the Badgers.
Yep, and Jones earlier in the game was able to find some space and got in for a touchdown. Looked like he found a little bit of space there, but a great open field tackle, saving the Badgers from giving up a first down. And now Badger offense getting to come back out for another drive, looking to build off the momentum from the previous score.
Ball at the Arkadelphia 30-yard line. He had to get closer to the 29 for a first down. So good job by Arkadelphia to stop him. Badgers take over with 4:02 left, leading by 2 touchdowns, 15-point lead. Run off tackle, and boy, Hot Springs defended that well. Bailey made it back to the line of scrimmage, but that is all. That big defensive line has worked well tonight for the Trojans.
Yep, and they're strong, but they're also pretty quick out there, doing a great job containing Bailey on that last play.
Tackle that time by Michael Jackson. Bigger than the original. Yeah, Chris tells me it's bad. Chris. Second down, 10 yards to go. Arkadelphia lines up with Bailey at running back. And they want to pass. Throw across the middle. That's a completion again to Trip Campbell. He's got yardage to the 38-yard line. And a flag is down. Might be on the tackle. We think we maybe saw a face mask. We'll see if the officials agree with that. If that's the case, instead of 3rd down, it'll be 1st and 10. Clock is stopped at 3:22. This official team, they're good, but they're very careful about communication. They communicate with everybody on the field before they give a signal, and it is well, he pointed in the wrong direction. Now he corrects himself. Against the defense. Not a face mask against Campbell. He was the one being hit. Campbell's shown some good hands with catches tonight. Ball to the 44-yard line. First down and 10, Arkadelphia. Bailey is the running back now, giving Jay-Sean Davis a bit of a break. 3 receivers to the wide side, 1 to the short side. That's Campbell to the short side. Back to pass is Whitten. He's under a lot of pressure. Flags go down. He throws the ball. It's incomplete. I think it's going to be holding anyway based on where the flag came down. Hard to believe there was much holding because everybody got through to the quarterback very quickly, but I suppose that caused somebody to grab, and I think that one's going to go against the Badgers.
Yep, and as you mentioned, Jeff, great job there from the Hot Springs Trojans, bringing the pressure there on the front end from that defensive line. And indeed, the call is holding here. You know, in those situations, you got 3 or 4 linemen flying at the quarterback. You don't want your guy to get hurt. Sometimes, you know, you got to commit that penalty to prevent your quarterback from taking a big hit.
And what you have to keep in mind, if you're wondering why the ball has been marked back so far, that's from the spot of the foul, not from the line of scrimmage. So they're going to spot the ball all the way back to the 28-yard line. The Badgers have to make it to the 46 of Hot Springs for a first down. Whitten with plenty of time to throw, fires it downfield, incomplete. Double coverage on his intended receiver, and it falls incomplete. Whitten's got the arm to throw a deep pass. Used some touch that time, but it was well defended. So Arkadelphia will go back to work.
Yep, and we saw double coverage there from Hot Springs. Great defensive play there, getting in front of the football and getting the deflection there. Saw a couple good blocks there from the Arkadelphia offensive line on that last play. But just a great play overall from the Hot Springs defense to counteract it, and now it's 2nd and long.
To the near side is Trip Campbell and Carter Babb. To the far side, Loy and Hughes. Bailey is the running back to the right of his quarterback, Donovan Whitten. It is second down and very long. And the whistle and delay of game against Arkadelphia. Wow, well, the penalty stuff is just catching now. Both teams having trouble with it. Well, now they're going to discuss whether or not timeout was called before the delay was flagged. They've already signaled delay of game. Let's see if they wave it off. Or maybe now they're going to take a timeout. They haven't marked it off yet. Yeah, they waved off that penalty. It is a timeout, Arkadelphia, and it happened before the delay call. So Arkadelphia gets a timeout, saves the 5 yards. It's going to be second and very, very long when we come back, but we'll take a break during this timeout. 2:59 left. We are in the second quarter. Arkadelphia 22 and Hot Springs 7. We'll be back after this.
Under perfect conditions, your car traveling at 65 miles per hour can stop in about 300 feet. That's the length of a football field.
But a fully loaded tractor trailer, one that weighs 80,000 pounds, will take 2 football fields to stop. And that's if the driver is rested, paying attention, and the truck and load is properly maintained.
If you're in an accident with a big truck, call 1-800-CAR-WRECK.
Get the experienced team that's going to be on your side, by your side.
Sometimes a sloppy game on one side will spread to the other side. That seems to be happening right now, but Arkadelphia did avoid that delay call with a last-moment timeout. So Badgers in a timeout right now having an offensive discussion. The ball is on the 28-yard line of Arkadelphia. They're going to make it to the 46-yard line of Hot Springs for a first down. But again, it's just second down. 22-7. A lot of scoring, a lot of action in the first quarter, a lot of penalties in the second quarter. 2:59 left before halftime. Now we're going to have the officials discussing things. They were very big on discussing. Now they're going to mark it off. Oh, my. They signaled that it wasn't a penalty, that it was a timeout, and then I guess they decided the timeout came after the delay call. Goodness gracious. Now they haven't moved the chain. There he goes. He's going to move too. So they do mark off the 5 yards against Arkadelphia. Wow. Back to pass, Whitten under a lot of pressure. He escapes that pressure, throws downfield. He's got an open receiver. Here's Bailey to the 40, 45, 50. He might go. Bailey down the far sideline. Look for flags. I don't see any. This is Bailey. Touchdown, Arkadelphia.
How about that from Braylon Bailey, breaking into the open field there, and look at Whitten just rolling out of the pocket here, finds his man around midfield, around the 40-yard line, and he just breaks into the open field. It's a foot race, and that's a foot race that he's winning all the way. Huge play there from Bailey, and the Badgers extending their lead yet again here with just under 3 minutes left in the second quarter.
After the good throw and good catch, a beautiful block by Arkadelphia receiver Alex Loy, making it possible for it to go the rest of the way for the touchdown. The extra point is up. Good job on the hold to get it down, and a good kick. The extra point is good. Arkadelphia 29, Hot Springs 7, 2:43 left. How do you like that? Best way to overcome penalties? A big play. Arkadelphia got it.
They did, and like you said, Jeff, we'd seen quite a few penalties here in the quarter, and we're a little bit concerned there. You know, we haven't seen too many big plays, but that time just a clean play from Arkadelphia all the way through. We saw some great blocks from the offensive line, as well as a few maybe wide receivers getting in there around midfield, making some good open field blocks, and Bailey is able to find space down the right sideline, breaks into the open field, wins the foot race, and picks up the score for the Badgers.
Arkadelphia had a 2nd and 31 and scored a touchdown. What a beautiful play for that score. Arkadelphia now has a nice lead of 22 points, still 2:43 left. Hot Springs figures they can make it to the end zone one more time if they can avoid penalties. We'll see if Arkadelphia's defense can continue to play very, very well against a team that scored 52 points last week. Here's the kickoff. Good job by Spencer Allen on his extra points, and now on a short kick that is fair caught at the 26-yard line. Arkadelphia has shown that offense to be explosive, just like we expected. They struggled against the big and fast Fairview Cardinals last week, but they practiced well all week, kept a great attitude, and it's coming through tonight.
Yep, it is, and this is where all those hours you spend in practice, especially after those tough losses, starts to shine. Just a great performance we've seen from the Badgers on both sides of the ball here tonight. Arkadelphia, after being held to just 21 points in the full contest last week against Camden Fairview, scoring 29 here in the first 20 minutes or so of the ball game. And then on defense, of course, holding a team that had 531 total yards and 52 points a week ago to just a score here with 3 minutes left in the second quarter.
Schuler is a good quarterback. He might be looking for Brogdon, a big-time receiver. Instead, he throws short, and this is Lanier. He's got some yardage across the 30. He's going to be brought down at the 33-yard line. On the carry that time, or after the catch that time, a run by Lanier, the running back. Second down, and they're going to need between 4 and 5 yards for a first down. Clock continues to run. We're down to 2:19 left before halftime. Pass play. Nowhere to go. He's going to be sacked. Big-time play by the Arkadelphia defense. And once again, the defensive end that's had quite a good night, Max Wilson, on the sack.
Great play there by Wilson, getting off of his block and getting to the quarterback quick. The pocket collapsing quickly, and the Badgers capitalize, able to bring him down in the backfield.
Timeout, Arkadelphia. Badgers want the ball back. Want to score one more time. 2:01 left. It's 3rd down 11. When we come back, we'll take a break. Arkadelphia leading 29-7 against Hot Springs. We'll be back after this.
For over 75 years, Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts on Main Street in Arkadelphia has served the people of Arkadelphia and her surrounding communities, providing a wide variety of floral and gift needs. Do you have a special occasion that calls for just the right touch of creativity? Join the many who call David Goodman at Mary and Martha's to create a floral arrangement to fit their needs and budget. Call Mary and Martha's at 870-246-2446 or visit their location at 921 Main Street in Arkadelphia. Mary and Martha's Florist is a proud supporter of the Arkadelphia Badgers.
Arkadelphia mix against some of the younger guys. That was Nick Williams, a sophomore, in on that last tackle to set up this 3rd down and 11 for Hot Springs. Arkadelphia called timeout because if this pass that we expect to see anyway, we might see a run, but if we see a pass and it falls incomplete, they're going to have enough time to make a run at another score before halftime. They are banking on the defense, creating that situation. Back to pass. Schuler wants to throw deep to the left side, looking for Brogdon. It's incomplete. Well, he's got good speed. The pass was close, but not quite there, and it was good coverage on the far side by Latonio Hughes.
And Hughes right there, clean play there on defense. Just a great job of adjusting to the ball, never making any illegal contact with the wide receiver. Just an all-around great play by the junior, making the stop for the Badgers.
Rodriguez on to do the punting, and deep to receive this punt for Arkadelphia is Bailey. They'd love to see him have a chance to return a kick. It's a very high kick, though, and it's going to be allowed to bounce at the 48 of Arkadelphia. It's going to roll to, well, now it takes a nice little sideways roll. Going to be picked up at the 43-yard line. So Arkadelphia needs 57 yards for another touchdown, and they have enough time with 1:39 left before halftime. Chase, it's going to be a very interesting last 1:39. Arkadelphia has shown the ability to throw the ball deep, to throw the ball short, to run the ball. They've got a chance to score one more time before halftime.
Yep, we've seen the quick strike ability here from the Badgers offense early on, and what a great shot in the arm that would be going into the locker room. Already on a 22-0 run, extend that perhaps to even a 29-0 run heading into halftime. What a great momentum booster that would be for the Badgers.
We see yet another flag. This time it was way back at the 30, and so there is more discussion. I'm going to back that up against Arkadelphia. I'm seeing some fingers being waved in that direction. And the officials want to have one more conversation. They're being careful. I don't mean to criticize the officials. They're being very careful, trying to communicate to both coaches. And we'll see what the end result will be. Yeah, we're thinking it's after the punt, right, Chris? We think it's going to be after the punt, and it will be Arkadelphia ball, but they might have a little more territory to cover. Yeah, they're going to mark it off against Arkadelphia, but the Badgers will keep the possession. They're just going to have to cover 67 yards. And they're going to have an offense that can do that, and still 1:39 left. Arkadelphia, by the way, still has 2 timeouts left. Badgers have 2 timeouts. They need 67 yards in 1:39. Arkadelphia leads at 29-7. Badgers line up, 3 receivers to the far side. On the near side is Trip Campbell, Bailey, Hughes, and Loy to the far side. Quarterback is Donovan Whitten. Jay-Sean Davis is the running back to the left of his quarterback. And they want to run. Here is Davis. Davis has 5, 6, runs over 2 players, 3 players, still running. What a run. To the 50, to the 40. He's got 1 man to beat to the 30. He might beat him. Oh, my goodness. Davis, touchdown, Arkadelphia. He ran over 4 defenders and then outran the rest of them. Here's the replay. What a beautiful run by Davis. Stays on his feet and then just outruns a defensive back.
Yep, and let me tell you, not every player on the field can make a play like that. You got to have strength, and then when you get out into the open field, you got to have that agility to finish off the play. Right there, Davis has both making an incredible play, perhaps the best offensive play we've seen from the Badgers thus far this season on offense.
Yeah, I think there's only one player on the field who can make that run. Here's the kick. It is up, and it is good. Arkadelphia perfect on extra points and 1 2-point conversion. So it's the Badgers 36, Hot Springs 7, 1:22 left in the second quarter. And we'll take a break and just sit here and marvel about what an amazing play that was by Jay-Sean Davis. We'll be back after this.
At Eccles, Thompson, and Kneebone CPA, we seek to provide accounting, tax, and financial planning services to individuals and small businesses with proficiency and integrity. Serving Arkadelphia since 1977, our staff looks forward to meeting your financial goals of today and also becoming your financial advocate for life. Visit us at 205 North 25th Street or call 246-8991 today. Eccles, Thompson, and Kneebone LTD says go Badgers.
Oh my, we're glad you got to see that play live. We're glad you got to see the replay and tune in to the Trey Shucker Show. Inside Badger Football with Trey Shucker. Tune into that next week. Our host for that show is our very own Chase Hartzell. And we're going to watch that play, 7, 8 times during that show because it was amazing. Kickoff lands out of bounds, 1 more penalty. This one will go against Arkadelphia. Hot Springs will have the ball at the 35-yard line. He ran over people at the line of scrimmage. He ran over people just past the line of scrimmage, and then he outraced the secondary to the end zone. An amazing play.
Yep, and that is why Davis, coming into the season, already being considered a D1 talent, and he's showing it to you right there. This is why this guy is receiving some big offers from some big colleges.
Yeah, I don't know a college that wouldn't like to have him on their team. What an amazing play by Davis. Power and speed. From the 35, first down and 10 for Hot Springs. Hot Springs will run the ball, but Arkadelphia really wraps this up well, a gain of only 2, and that's going to run some clock. 1:15 left. Maybe Hot Springs will throw deep one more time. The deep passes have not worked for the Trojans. They've had a little bit of success running the ball, scored a touchdown in the first quarter. But their own mistakes, a lot of penalties, and the Arkadelphia defense has shut them out since then. Second down, 8 yards to go, and they want to pass. Pass is batted up in the air. It's caught. Here's a return. Arkadelphia to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown Badgers on the interception return by Caden Young, the sophomore defensive lineman. Here's the replay. Watch this.
It is
with the tip.
It is every defensive lineman's dream to get that touchdown, and right there off the deflection. How about that? Caden Young, the sophomore, getting it off the tip and running it all the way back. You know that young man's got to be feeling good after that one, helping the Badgers extend their lead. It's now 42-7.
He's saying, Coach, put me at receiver. Caden Young with the big touchdown return.
Last year as a 9th grader against Ashdown. Ashdown was close in the game. They lined up for an onside kick. KD was up on the front line. The onside kick, KD fielded the ball and ran it back for a touchdown. He plays baseball also for the Badgers, and a couple of times he's been a courtesy runner for the catchers and or pitcher. And in one game last year, one umpire looked at the batter and says, does the coach know who he just courtesy ran? And he said, yeah, he'll be just fine. He stole the base the next pitch.
Wow. He's big, he's fast, and he's got some hands. Beautiful ball batted into the air by Kewen. He's had a great game. And then Young caught it on the deflection. Extra point was good, by the way, and he's perfect on the night. That is Spencer Allen. And Arkadelphia has just moved into the good sportsmanship rule. It's Arkadelphia 43 and Hot Springs 7. Scoreboard still says 42, but it's 43. That extra point was good. And so Arkadelphia, either way, is into the good sportsmanship rule. We didn't expect that. I mean, gee whiz, this Hot Springs team scored 52 points last week against a conference team that Arkadelphia will play in Fountain Lake. And now Arkadelphia leads this thing 42-7. Just amazing performance. 43-7 is correct. Just an amazing performance by the Badgers. Here's a kick return up to the 25, tackled at the 30-yard line. We're down to 39 seconds remaining.
Yep, and Jeff, that is the beauty of Arkansas high school football. You were just talking about it a minute ago. This Hot Springs Trojans team beat a conference opponent for Arkadelphia by 45 points last week. And Arkadelphia being defeated by a conference opponent for Hot Springs by 20 last week. But here we are in Hot Springs, Arkadelphia up by a big margin late in the first half. You never know what you're going to see any given Friday night.
Arkadelphia lines up defensively. Marvion Berry made the tackle on that kick return, and now he'll stay in and play linebacker. Here is a run, and it's a short gain. And Young, he might be a bit fired up right now, in on that tackle. So which is the most amazing play? The touchdown by Davis when he ran over 4 people and then out-sprinted in the secondary, or the tip and the defensive lineman scoring a touchdown on a return? Both of them just fantastic.
I think we've got a couple of SportsCenter top 10 candidates here in the late minutes of the first half. Just some great all-around play from the Badgers to close out the half here on the road.
The last 3 seconds of the half will be this play, and they're going to run the ball. Here is a tackle made. Oh, he broke a tackle, but now a nice tackle to prevent an even longer run. That was Ollie Weir that made the tackle, and that's the last play of the first half. What an amazing second quarter. Arkadelphia went from a lead suddenly, very quickly, to a good sportsmanship rule at 42-7 here at halftime. Touchdowns late in the second quarter by Bailey, Davis, and Young, 3 key players for the Arkadelphia Badgers. Well, we're going to have Arkadelphia's band performing momentarily, so let's wait and see. Occasionally, a home band will play before a visiting band, but I believe Arkadelphia is going to take the field first. So we're going to keep it right here and see if we can bring you this halftime show. We are on the home side, so we think we're going to be able to bring this to you just fine. What a show it is, too. Just a tremendous job last week in the home opener. And they are getting it underway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Arkadelphia High School Marching Band. The view from above, Arkadelphia Badger Pride.
Seatbelt sign. Please be seated, fasten your seatbelt, and enjoy your flight.
That is the Arkadelphia High School Badger Pride Marching Band under the field direction of Colson McKinney. And their show A View from Above, as they will continue to add to that throughout the season. Their next performance will be next week when the Badgers are on the road to take on the Greenbrier Panthers in the final non-conference game of the season in preparation for the 4A7 schedule. Remember what I was trying to say there, trying to think and do two things at once. It is the Southern Bancorp halftime show. Your score at halftime, if we had told you this about 10 minutes ago, you probably would have said we were making something up, but Arkadelphia scores 2 touchdowns in about a span of about 45 seconds. And Arkadelphia leads Hot Springs 43-7 after a huge second quarter for the Badgers. It is the Southern Bancorp halftime show. After this timeout, we'll take a look at some first half statistics. We'll take a look at scores from around the state, and we'll get ready for what will be a shorter second half. Arkadelphia 43, Hot Springs 7, the Southern Bancorp Badger halftime show will be back after this timeout. You're watching ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com.
Price & Company Insurance is the area's only trusted choice independent insurance agency. What is that, you might ask? An independent insurance agency works for you, the customer, and not the insurance companies. So the next time you're shopping for home, auto, business, life, or health insurance, we invite you to experience an unprecedented level of customer service and expertise. Call or click for a quote today.
For over 75 years, Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts on Main Street in Arkadelphia has served the people of Arkadelphia and her surrounding communities, providing a wide variety of floral and gift needs. Do you have a special occasion that calls for just the right touch of creativity? Join the many who call David Goodman at Mary and Martha's to create a floral arrangement to fit their needs and budget. Call Mary and Martha's at 870-246-2446 or visit their location at 921 Main Street in Arkadelphia. Mary and Martha's Florist is a proud supporter of the Arkadelphia Badgers.
At Eccles, Thompson, and Kneebone CPA, we seek to provide accounting, tax, and financial planning services to individuals and small businesses with proficiency and integrity. Serving Arkadelphia since 1977, our staff looks forward to meeting your financial goals of today and also becoming your financial advocate for life. Visit us at 205 North 25th Street or call 246-8991 today. Eccles, Thompson, and Kneebone Ltd. says go Badgers.
Hey, I didn't order any pizza.
Jake from State Farm. After you saved me so much dough on insurance with that Parker promo, I devised a promo for you.
Here's the deal, Parker. State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Right. Pepperoni pockets, cuckoo crusties.
There's no promo, it's just great rates.
And a cider ranch.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Austin Wingfield in Arkadelphia today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
As a family-owned sporting goods supplier since 1950, Southwest Sporting Goods understands the value of customer service and is committed to providing the best quality customer service and merchandise available. Southwest Sporting Goods is located in Arkadelphia, but also has salesmen that cover the entire state of Arkansas to help ensure that their customers will receive the best customer service and pricing that can be found. Southwest Sporting Goods, located in downtown Arkadelphia, supporting the Badgers since 1950. You are watching the Southern Bancorp halftime show. The score on your board is correct. Arkadelphia 43, Hot Springs 7, as we bring on Chris Babb, bringing Jim Rothwell on. We would like to thank our sponsors. This is the Southern Bancorp halftime show. We do have several sponsors. One of our new ones, the Roadrunner, located on West Pine near Arkadelphia High School. Fueling good, 1 gallon at a time, including our very own Arkadelphia Badgers. Did you know that when you fill up at the Roadrunner's designated spirit pump at the Roadrunner on West Pine, if you pull into it coming from across the street from McDonald's or pull it to it from the left, it is the pump closest to Interstate 30. So if you pull into one of those two pumps, 3 cents of every gallon will go straight back to the Arkadelphia School District. They can use those dollars to support academics, athletics, other projects. This fall, Roadrunner is giving us the option to fill our tanks and our cups with a free fountain drink when we show our Spirit Pump receipt in the store. In just 2 years, Roadrunner has donated more than $75,000 to local schools in various communities where Roadrunner has stations and through this community-based initiative. So this football season, let's head to Roadrunner to support our Badgers. Stop by the West Pine store to fill up. Grab 2 for $2 candy bars or get a much-needed energy boost with your favorite drink or freshly brewed coffee. Follow at Roadrunner Stores or visit roadrunnerstores.com for more information. Visit Roadrunner on West Pine. Look for the Spirit Pump and give 3 cents of every gallon to the Arkadelphia Public School District. Jim Rothwell, 43-7. This game turned on a dime. You know, Arkadelphia was had a nice job. Not 22-7. You get a 2-score lead, then you get another touchdown to make it 29-7, and then it just kind of went downhill from there for Hot Springs. And to Arkadelphia's favor, Ja'Shawn Davis with one of the strongest runs I've seen, and then the tip pass by Landon Kuhn as he tips the ball. KD Young catches it, runs about 25 yards into the end zone, and here we are sitting at 43-7.
It was going so fast there at the end, I was having a little trouble keeping up, and I think my pen's running out of ink for so much action going on here. But a great first half. You can't plan any better. You can't expect any more in the first half. Donovan Whitten was 10 out of 15, 67%. You get that from him, you're good.
Yep.
218 yards in one half. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Great job. Just almost perfect play from him. Good decision making. Scrambles when he needs to. Finds a receiver downfield. On the scrambles, he doesn't just commit to run. He's always looking downfield. Spread the ball around. Trip Campbell had 4 receptions for 46 yards. Alex Lloyd 2 for 42. Ja'Shawn Davis had 1 for 13. Begley had 2 for 83 with the big touchdown run. And then Hughes had 1 reception for 35 yards and a TD as well. And Campbell had a TD. Rushing, Ja'Shawn Davis started off a little slow, but by the end he was taking on the load there. 8 attempts for 122 yards. That's 15.25 yards a carry every time he touched the ball. Of course, most of it came on that long run. 2 TDs there as well. Offensively, you can't do any better than that. But you don't want to ignore the Arkadelphia defense. This is a Hot Springs team that put a lot of points on the board last week against Fountain Lake. And again, Fountain Lake's not the quality that you might expect, but still, Arkadelphia's defense, the quarterback, 4 of 14 for just 70 yards. 4 of 14, that's not anywhere close to what he did last week. Receivers, the big play was the T.J. Brogdon, 2 receptions for 68 yards, but he was run down. Stopped there, didn't end up scoring, but he was stopped.
That was a play very similar to last year against Hot Springs. I think it was Pierce Smalley got loose on the far side. Latonio Hughes chased him down and tackled him. Last year it ended up in a stop for the Arkadelphia defense, a four down stop. This year Hot Springs is able to score after the big play, but still a good play. You mentioned that 4 of 14. There were several pass breakups in the secondary, 2 from Hughes, but that pressure that the defensive line and linebackers have put on Schuler have really forced him to make some errant throws. You talk about Coach Grimmett, and really I think Coach Grimmett also has had some stunts and some shifts in the line, because if you know that Hot Springs is prone to jump off sides or false start, if you throw some movement in there, that could have been what caused several of those false start penalties.
Probably so. The pressure was really good. It made him throw before he was ready. It sometimes didn't give him a chance to step in the throw, so he didn't get the accuracy or the power behind the throw. But they've also done a good job rushing on the rushing defense. Lanier had 12 carries, but only 55 yards, and 12 of that came on that last run that he had there. I think he had one other run, maybe for plus 10. So defensively, both on the run and with the pass, Arkadelphia defense has done great. Just a tremendous night there with the pressure on the quarterback, Scheller.
Yep. We've got 6:40 left in half. The kind of indicative of the night, the video board and the scoreboard have gone off. We do have 6.5 minutes left, but the Badgers are already coming out on the field. They're probably ready to get this second half started, and why wouldn't you be? But, Jim, any of your thoughts as we wrap up this halftime show and prepare for the third quarter here in a few minutes?
I was just looking back through my notes. Arkadelphia had 6 possessions. They scored on 5 of them. One of them was stopped on a 4th down that could have easily kept another drive going. So they could easily have scored on every possession they had in the first half.
This is more indicative of the offense we saw in the scrimmage against Lake Hamilton. For
it
those
really
who were able to see,
good balance,
Donovan
rushing,
Whitten was
running.
17 of 24, I believe, for 341 yards, 4 touchdowns. Jayshawn Davis had 3 touchdowns in that game. Tonight, Latonio Hughes has gotten in the end zone. Jayshawn Davis, Braylon Bailey, and K.D. Young there for Arkadelphia. But a little bit more indicative of what you kind of expected. And you can't compare scores. You get in trouble when you start comparing scores, but that loss last week to Camden, after seeing Camden play El Dorado to a 5-point game and having a chance to win that game at the end, the Camden Fairview team is going to be a good one. Arkadelphia will have another good one next week against Greenbrier. I don't want to start talking about next week because we still have a half to play, even though the clock will be running. But this is probably a little bit better feeling for Arkadelphia coming out of this halftime locker room than they were last week.
Yeah, I
guess that's kind of an understatement.
Yeah. I just checked the Greenbrier score. I think they were winning like 42-0 or 42-7. So they're going to be tough.
Who are they play? You remember who they were playing tonight?
Batesville, I believe.
Yeah,
so.
Greenbrier. Wilcox is quarterback that, and they didn't like losing to Arkadelphia last year. That's going to be a tough one next week at Greenbrier.
So.
All right, Jim, thanks a lot. We've got a few minutes left, and we will take a break. And then when we come back, we'll bring Chase Hartzell back in for some scores from around the state. Jim just spoiled your Greenbrier score, Chase. Sorry about that. We'll talk to him about that, see if he can do better next week. And then we'll set up the third quarter, bring the football doctor back into the saddle for the third quarter of play. Again, at halftime, the Southern Bancorp halftime show, Arkadelphia 43, Hot Springs 7. We'll be back after this timeout. You're watching Arkadelphia Badger football on Arkadelphia Badger football or ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com. Back after this.
Everyone's known for something. Ours is simple. At the Southwest Auto Collection and iDriveSWA.com, you get the absolute lowest price on America's best brands: Ford, Lincoln, Chevy, GMC, Buick, and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. The best selection and the lowest prices guaranteed. And we deliver anywhere in the state, plus tires for life. It really is that simple. Visit us today, the Southwest Auto Collection, I-30 exit 78 in Arkadelphia, or online at iDriveSWA.com.
Locally owned and operated, Java Primo is the official coffee house of ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com. At Java Primo, amazing coffee is just the beginning. In addition to coffee, drinks, and desserts, we also have wonderful options for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Shop our gift selection 24/7 online at javaprimo.com or visit us on Main Street in historic downtown Arkadelphia. Java Primo Coffee House, Cafe, and more says, Go Badgers!
Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler CPA is a longtime supporter of the Arkadelphia Public School District. Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler has established a reputation for providing clients with outstanding services that include auditing, accounting, and tax and business consulting. Contact Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler today at 870-246-4563 or by visiting them at 305 Professional Park Drive in Arkadelphia. Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler says, Go Badgers!
And we welcome you back now to the Spa City, Hot Springs, Arkansas, the side of this contest between the Arkadelphia Badgers and the Hot Springs Trojans. Great first half from the Badgers, hold a commanding 36-point lead coming out of the locker room. And right now, while they're making the last few adjustments before we begin the second half, we're going to take a look at some of the scores around the state and around our conference. So first off, we look at Robinson, who last week suffered a tough loss to a very good Pulaski Academy team. They're down once again. This time to Maumelle, they trailed 21-14 at the half. And we are still missing a few key scores from around the conference, such as Bauxite taking on Monticello tonight. Haskell Harmony Grove up right now on the Jessieville lines. They lead 21-6 at home at the half. And then Malvern facing the Glen Rose Beavers tonight. The Beavers taking the fight to the Leopards on the road. They lead by 1 at the half, 14-13. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how that matchup progresses as the night goes along. Still haven't heard a score from Hope versus Nashville, but that should be an interesting contest. Another 4A 7 versus 5A South matchup here tonight. And then, of course, we're still waiting to hear back on the Fountain Lake and England score. That should be an interesting matchup as well, 4A versus 2A. So that's going to wrap it up for the scores around the conference. As we mentioned just a week ago, or as we mentioned a few moments ago, Greenbrier up 42-0 right now at home against the Batesville Pioneers. Definitely going to be an interesting matchup next week against the Arkadelphia Badgers. In fact, Greenbrier is on the road this week, making it an even more impressive feat thus far in that game. It'll be interesting to see how that one wraps up. But it looks like we are just about ready to resume action here. And with that, we bring back Dr. Football. Dr. Jeff Root returns to the call.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Chase. We've had a little fun here tonight as Arkadelphia really turned on the speed there in the second quarter and came away with a mercy rule, or a good sportsmanship rule, that will be played here in the second half. Just to recap, Arkadelphia scored a touchdown. Bailey on a 77-yard pass from Whitten. 2:43 left before halftime. Then 1:22 left before halftime. Davis on a 67-yard run. And then with 46 seconds left before halftime, Caden Young on a 37-yard interception return on a pass that was tipped by Landon Kewen. 3 touchdowns in the last 2:43 of the second quarter gives Arkadelphia a 43-7 lead at halftime. We're just about ready for second half action, and the clock is going to roll. We are into the good sportsmanship rule here in Hot Springs. And Arkadelphia is going to get the ball first and a chance to add to this lead.
Yep, and that is the key right now. You know, you look back at those last few possessions. You know, we were talking about if Arkadelphia would have an opportunity to extend their run even once, and then they go and score twice, ending the half with a 36-0 run and potential to build on it here. All the momentum is swung in the Badgers' favor entering the second half. It's just been an all-around outstanding performance by the Badgers here tonight.
At halftime last week, Hot Springs led Fountain Lake 26-7 and went on to win 52-7. At halftime tonight, Hot Springs has given up 43 to Arkadelphia, and they've scored 7 themselves. Here's the kickoff. Raul Rodriguez with the kick. A line drive shot returnable from the 20-yard line up to the 30, down the sideline. There's a good return to the 40-yard line. Nice play by Arkadelphia's D'Angelo Buckley. You're going to hear his name a lot in the future. He's only a sophomore.
Yep, and showing a little burst of speed there. Got a good block and was able to get a nice return, getting the Badgers up close near midfield past the 40. And so Arkadelphia, good field position to start off the second half.
First down and 10 for the Badgers, starting at their own 41-yard line. Badgers going to come out with some of the younger guys, including a new quarterback in Cade McBride, a sophomore quarterback checking in to start. The clock should be running here. We're in the good sportsmanship rule. Here is a running play, and Buckley's going to get some yardage. He's got 5, he's got 8, he's got 10. Good run by the sophomore.
Yep, and we saw the burst of speed on the return. We see it again right here. Found an opening in that defensive line and was able to capitalize on it. Almost picks up the first down for the Badgers. And it looks like they say he will. He did pick up the first down for the Badgers, so a great run there from the sophomore, making an impact early here in the second half.
Skill position players are the youngsters, not the starters. But they're getting some valuable experience here. And another running play, Buckley. This time he's caught in the backfield and will lose yardage back to the Arkadelphia 49. Snap was a little bit high that time. McBride got it to his running back. Buckley by then had nowhere to go. So a loss on first down. Clock now is running. I believe everybody up here in the press box understands we're in the good sportsmanship role. The referees need to remember that also and remember to start the clock at the appropriate time. Back to pass. McBride throws short and throws incomplete. It's going to be third down and long for Arkadelphia. And the clock stops now at 10:59. Clock stops at 10:59. Now they've started it again. Yeah, just trying to get used to the fact that this went from a nice Arkadelphia lead to a mercy rule game in a big hurry at the end of the second quarter. Third down, 13 yards to go for Arkadelphia. McBride at quarterback with the backups in the game. He throws to the sideline. There's a good pass and a reception on the far sideline for Arkadelphia. It's short of a first down, but a very fine pass by McBride. And a catch on the far side by Arkadelphia's Maddox Atkins. Sophomore wide receiver made the catch.
Yep, and just a great play there from both sophomores. You know, sometimes with young quarterbacks, it can be, you can fall victim to that pressure, but did a great job there, made a great read and a great play, and now it's 4th and manageable for the Badgers.
4th and 4, and they're going to go for it. McBride at quarterback. He will hand off to Buckley. Buckley makes a nice run and a first down across the 35 to the 31-yard line. Good running by the sophomore. He's showing a lot of promise, and Arkadelphia has a first down.
Yep, and we talked about his speed, but notice how he's really using his speed when it counts. He's finding the opening and then using his speed once he's found that opening, able to conserve his energy a little bit so that when he finds that open field and that green grass, he's able to capitalize on it and pick up those extra yards.
McBride running the team at quarterback. He will fake the handoff and pass. Ooh, it's intercepted this time at the 18-yard line. Return to the 25 down the far sideline. Good return up to the 40-45. Buckley makes the tackle at the Hot Springs 46-yard line. First down, first possession for Hot Springs. I'm sure they'll bring the first teamers out and try to recover from the mistakes they made. A lot of penalties, self-inflicted wounds by Hot Springs, and the Arkadelphia defense played obviously a whale of a game in the first half, also giving up only the first quarter touchdown.
Yep, and it was a good interception there from Brown. Looked like there was a little bit of contact before the ball got to him, but just a great play there on defense. No penalties there, and just a great play. And a great return, too, as well, setting up the Trojans just inside their own territory near midfield.
Here's Isaac Schuler, I should say, the senior quarterback, 3-year starter. He's going to hand off. There's a running back up the middle. He's going to gain some yardage up to the Arkadelphia 49-yard line. First team defense still in the game for Arkadelphia. Good work on the defensive line. Boy, they've had several players doing a great job. Jeliah Solomon in, one of the Badgers in on that tackle.
Yep, and they're doing a great job of containing a run game that had almost 300 yards a week ago against Fountain Lake.
2nd and 6, pass to the sideline complete, and there's a nice gain for Hot Springs. That's a good pass from Schuler, the senior. It's close to a first down, but I think he's going to be about a yard short.
Yep, and Schuler right there showing the veteran prowess, able to make a good read, finds his man to the outside. Man gets out of bounds, and now it's 3rd manageable for the Trojans.
And they're going to run a quarterback sneak, quick snap, and he's going to make the first down. They finally do blow the whistle. It took them a little while, but they blow it. Wilson on the tackle along with about 4 or 5 other Badgers. And they're going to spot it in enough territory here to make a first down. First down and 10. Hot Springs at the Arkadelphia 42-yard line. 2 runs and a pass, and that quarterback sneak got him the first down. Schuler's a good runner. Nice passer, 2 touchdown passes last week. Interception return for a touchdown. Ooh, there's a high snap. Hot Springs will pick it up and try to make some yardage. This is Dorsey. He's fumbled. He fumbled on the big hit, and Arkadelphia says they have it. Let's see if the officials agree. The officials do agree. Arkadelphia with the fumble recovery, and that was Kewen that came up with it. He's having a big game.
Yep, and Kewen right there. Just an unlucky play for Hot Springs all around. First, the high snap, potentially losing the ball right there, but then trying to recover and get that yardage back from the high snap. Meanwhile, in the process, ball pops out, but Kewen with the wherewithal to pounce on the football, and he was right there. Arkadelphia recovers. Big play there from the Arkadelphia defense, responding to the turnover a few moments ago with one of their own.
On the far side, Arkadelphia's second-team offense is having a meeting with their coach, and they're going to come back out. They moved the ball a little bit and then turned it over the first possession of the second half as the younger guys got a chance. They got a few starting linemen in. They've got skilled position second-teamers in. A lot of those guys do play in a rotation, though. That's not the first time they've seen the ball. This is Carter Babb on an end around. He's going to make some positive yardage and be driven out of bounds. And he's all right after a little collision on the near side. Babb is back to the huddle, and everything is fine. Huddle. They don't huddle, but he's back to the line of scrimmage.
And a strong run there from Babb on the jet sweep, but just a good job there from the Hot Springs defense, able to contain the outside and limiting Babb to only a couple yards on that one.
Babb lines up in the slot. He's the most experienced of the younger guys on the field, I'd say, right now, as he's had a rotation with the regulars. Everybody else is on their way to being a regular, though, especially Buckley. What a nice run. Avoiding tacklers in the backfield. He's getting positive yardage across the 50-yard line up to the 49 of Hot Springs. They might mark it, at the 49-yard line. Good run by Buckley, and it's third down. And Arkadelphia's got a chance to pick up 5 more, maybe 4 more, and make a first down here. Clock continues to run. 7:15 left. We're in the good sportsmanship rule. Arkadelphia 43 and Hot Springs 7. Good performance tonight by the Badgers. And now Hot Springs jumps offside. McBride, the long snap count. It worked the way he intended. A Trojan jumped off sides. Ball at the 44-yard line of Hot Springs. Go ahead and move the chains, guys. There you go. First down, 10 yards to go. Arkadelphia lines up. Now they're going to wind the clock. Well, of course. Good sportsmanship rule. They're going to pass the ball to the near sideline. There's a catch by Babb to the 39-yard line, I should say. Good catch by Babb. He's got those good hands. Natural athlete like his father. From the 39-yard line, it is second down, 5 yards to go. Evan Bailey, the receiver to the near side for Arkadelphia. They're going to hand it to Buckley. Buckley looking for space. Now he's going to cut it up the field. What a good run. That's good vision up to the 30-yard line. He couldn't get to the sideline and get yardage, but he made a nice cut.
Yep, he did, and great field vision, as you mentioned, Jeff, making a good run and using the speed just when he needed it to get those extra yards, and he picks up the first down. You know, we talk about it, the tandem right now of Braylon Bailey and Ja'Shawn Davis. Arkadelphia's had some strong running backs, got a couple seniors graduating this year, but now you look at guys like D'Angelo Buckley, just a sophomore, the future continuing to look bright for the Arkadelphia running game.
From the 31, McBride throws it to the sideline, incomplete. Timing was a bit off on that play. He got it to the receiver, but he tried to run before he could have a firm grip on the ball. So it's second down, 10 yards to go. Clock continues to run after the incompletion because we're in the good sportsman rule here. 5:40 left, clock running. Third quarter, Arkadelphia leads at 43-7 against Hot Springs. They're going to line it up with Babb, Buckley, or I should say Bailey, that is Evan Bailey, and Maddox Atkins on the near side. And a running play. Here's Buckley. He is in traffic, but he runs through it. What a marvelous run by Buckley. I think we're going to like watching this guy run in years to come. The sophomore makes good yardage when it looked like he'd be hitting the backfield for a loss.
And we talked about the speed and the field vision that this young man has, and he's showing the field vision again right there. But how about the balance right there to stay on his feet and the strength to try to push through the contact from the Hot Springs defensive line, able to advance the play a few extra yards. And now it's third and short for Arkadelphia. Great play there from Buckley.
Seth Golden also in the game for Arkadelphia. They're going to get it to Babb. Babb looking for a place to go. Is going to be hit in the backfield and dragged down. Good play on defense by Amar Andrews, the junior for Hot Springs.
And Andrews doing a good job there, reading the play from the snap, following Babb around the edge there, and was able to wrap him up behind the line for a loss. Good play there from the Trojans.
On the far side for Arkadelphia is Golden along with Atkins. Babb on the near side along with Bailey. Buckley is the running back. Ooh, a high snap. It's going to get by the quarterback, and he's just going to cover it at the 40-yard line. That was fourth down, so that's going to turn it over to Hot Springs at the 40, make it the 39-yard line. Hot Springs has the ball back. Clock continues to run, though. We're inside 4 minutes to play in the third quarter. Arkadelphia with a commanding lead at halftime, and that's still the score. Badgers 43, Trojans 7. I want to say once again how proud we are to have Andy's Restaurant as a sponsor. Andy's Restaurant, been a part of Arkadelphia for many, many years. part of my life from my teenage years on. It's a lopsided score when I start talking about my teenage years. And a running play for Hot Springs. Going to be a gain of a yard or two. Great place to call home, Arkadelphia is. Great place to grow up. Andy's Restaurant, great place to eat. Second down and long for Hot Springs. Did I mention the biscuits? They're really good at Andy's. I love the biscuits. Drive through and get me a biscuit every now and then. Second down and 11. Arkadelphia having fun tonight. We are too. Handoff coming to the near side. That's a good run by their starter, but look at these young defenders for Arkadelphia making the tackle. That's Lanier, the senior, on the carry, and he got yardage up to the 43-yard line. Arkadelphia had several Badgers in on the play. Nick Williams among those, sophomore defensive back. On third down, Arkadelphia jumped that time. Arkadelphia got a little bit too excited, jumped off sides, 5 free yards for Hot Springs. That's not enough for a first down, but it's going to be third and short now.
Yep, and with a young squad, you're going to see mistakes like that from time to time, but really, it's been a clean half for both teams thus far. That might have been one of, if not the first penalty of the half we've seen.
And here we go. Handoff right up the middle. Good hit by Arkadelphia, but falling forward for a first down is the Hot Springs running back. They do finally blow the whistles. Several Badgers in on that tackle. Interior lineman doing a nice job for Arkadelphia, including Jakari Scott, also Jeliah Solomon. Also on the line for Arkadelphia, Brady Curtis checking in at defensive line right now. Schuler at quarterback, ball just on the Arkadelphia side of the 50-yard line. He wants to throw it. He will fire it deep this time, and it is incomplete. Well defended by Arkadelphia. That time playing defense for the Badgers was Kelburn Middleton, also a sophomore. Key thing for sophomores to get this much varsity experience.
Yep, it is, and we talked about it. This is a very experienced squad for the Badgers. You're going to see a lot of these players that are starting this game graduating over the next year or two, so it's always great to be investing in those young players and giving them that playing time so that when their time arrives and it's time for them to step up, they're ready.
Second down. 10 yards to go for Hot Springs. They're going to run the ball right out of Arkadelphia. There's some yardage, but a good tackle made by Arkadelphia Scott. Ball spotted at the 44-yard line. Third down, and they're still going to need 5. Schuler looks to the sideline. 4-down territory, of course, but they need 5. Free safety in for Arkadelphia is Cade McLean. He's also a sophomore. Arkadelphia looking like they want to put pressure on the backfield here, and they're going to come after the running back. They'll hit him in the backfield. He tries to escape. No, I'm sorry. That is a handoff that faked me out, and to the far side, there's some yardage. Boy, I had the binoculars on it and still faked me out. Yardage for Hot Springs for a first down the far sideline. Thank goodness some of the Badgers were not faked out by that, and they made the tackle on the far sideline. But the gain up to the 30-yard line, first down and 10. And now we're down to 38 seconds left in the third quarter. From the 30-yard line, Hot Springs trying to get in the end zone against the young sophomore crew on defense. They'll throw the ball downfield. There's a completion to the 15-yard line to the 10. He'll break that tackle, but then be brought down. He fumbles after he was down. He was down before he lost the ball. So they're going to spot it at the 4-yard line. On the catch for Hot Springs was Blake McClellan, a senior.
Yep, and McClellan did a great job there getting into open space. Quarterback able to find his man and a great connection there to set up the Trojans with first and goal, but still a great job by Arkadelphia as well, bringing down the man in the open field to prevent a score.
They're going to hand off, coming to the right side, looking for the end zone. There's a hit. He's close to the goal line, but he is not in. At the 1-yard line on the carry was Perry Jones, only a sophomore. He's a big back. And that is the end of the third quarter. We'll see if Hot Springs can put it in the end zone when we start the fourth quarter, but we'll take a break first. It's Arkadelphia 43, Hot Springs 7. We'll be back after this.
Doctors Gary and Rob Rucker are proud sponsors of this Arkadelphia Badger broadcast. Dr. Gary and Rob Rucker, supporting the Badgers since 1996.
The Board of Directors of South Central Arkansas Electric Cooperative believes in the necessity of high-speed internet access in rural South Central Arkansas. South Central Connect was created to fill a need other internet providers are not able to provide to our area. South Central Connect, through our local cooperative, brings the necessity of internet service to your house, much like they did electricity in the 1930s. Sign up today at southcentralconnect.com or call 855-269-3429.
Well, if you talk about people who have given their heart and soul to Arkadelphia, Austin Wingfield is on that list, and Austin Wingfield State Farm is one of our sponsors. Blake Bell, Edward Jones, a sponsor also. We appreciate you, Blake. Blend Real Estate, our sponsor there in San Diego is Kerry Garnett, the state champion quarterback of the 1979 Badgers. Chad Kesterson Shelter Insurance is a sponsor. Clark County Farm Bureau is a sponsor. Dairy Queen coming to Arkadelphia very, very soon, a sponsor. Eccles, Thompson, and Kneebone, a sponsor, along with Gary and Rob Rucker. We'll give you the full list after this play. Hot Springs trying to make it to the end zone. Here's a running play, and this is a touchdown. On the carry, the big sophomore Perry Jones. He had 2 touchdown runs last week, and he picks up a touchdown on this play as Hot Springs is back on the board. First score for the Trojans since the first quarter.
Yep, and just a strong run there, a strong drive overall from the Trojans. Able to move the ball well downfield right there. McClellan's catch was a big part of that drive, setting up the Trojans with first and goal, and a couple runs later they're able to punch it in for the score. You got to respect that the Trojans down big here in the fourth quarter, but they're still fighting.
A little delay as they get one more lineman on before trying the extra point. Clock is stopped momentarily at 11:56 here in the football game. And the kick is up, and the kick is good. With that point, the Trojans have 14 and the Badgers have 43. We'll come back with more Badger football 2021 after this.
Financial investments are very important, but so are the investments of time, patience, and encouragement our young athletes receive from their coaches, teachers, and mentors. Blake Bell, one of your Arkadelphia Edward Jones financial advisors, understands this. That's why Blake Bell of Edward Jones is a proud sponsor of the Arkadelphia Badgers and the Badger Pride Marching Band on ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com. For all of your investment needs, call 870-246-5974 or visit EdwardJones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
I love that spot because I like looking at Blake Bell's office, all that memorabilia. Blake, you got to give me a tour sometime. Hot Springs set to kick off to Arkadelphia after that touchdown. We're in the good sportsmanship rule. Arkadelphia 43, Hot Springs now 14 after picking up that touchdown. Here is a kickoff. Arkadelphia is going to return this one from the 25-yard line up to the 30, to the 35. Good little change of direction and nice return up near the 40-yard line. Arkadelphia doing a fine job on that return. Coming from the Badgers, Seth Golden. And now the officials are going to have a conversation, and we'll remind you that we are so appreciative of our sponsors. Israel Wardlaw Farmers Insurance, a sponsor. Java Primo, a sponsor. Marion Martha's, a longtime feature of Arkadelphia and a sponsor. Midian Digital Creation, sponsoring Badger football. Pediatrics Plus, welcome to Arkadelphia Pediatrics Plus. Love having you as a sponsor. Price and Company, a sponsor for Arkadelphia Badger football. Providence Veterinary Care. South Central Connect, Southern Bank Corps, sponsor of all good things in Arkadelphia, including the Badgers, Southwest Auto Collection, Southwest Sporting Goods, Taylor King and Associates, Turner, Rogers, Manning and Plyler, Welch Funeral Home, and the Roadrunner, our newest sponsor. We're thankful for all of those sponsors of Badger football. Penalty against Arkadelphia on the kick return. That will stop the clock momentarily at 11:48 left in our football game tonight. And the ball is spotted at the 21-yard line. And the mostly sophomore group will come back out to line up offensively for the Badgers. They played the entire second half. Buckley at running back. And there's a handoff to Buckley. To the left side, he's got some yardage, 6, 8 yards. Good run by Buckley. He's shown some great speed, some good moves, doing a fine job. Quarterback Cade McBride, also a sophomore, has been playing quarterback for the entire second half.
Yep, and we're seeing some impressive play from both members of this tandem thus far. Great to see these young Badgers get some playing time here and playing a pretty good second half here in hostile territory. We'll see if they can cap it off here. Only thing that's been missing so far is a score. See if they can get that right here.
And there's a handoff to Buckley. They come after him this time. He'll make positive yardage anyway to the 31. That's very close to a first down. Just depends on the spot. And that's a good enough spot. He should have it, and they will not have to measure. That is a first down, Arkadelphia at the 31-yard line. 2 runs by Buckley. First down yardage for Arkadelphia. Carter Babb is the receiver by himself on the near side, short side of the field. 3 receivers on the wide side at the top of your screen. Those receivers include Tristan Smith, a sophomore, and a couple of guys that we have seen before, Golden and Atkins. Pass play across the middle, incomplete. Tried to get it to Babb, but he was hurried and hit hard as he threw the ball. Steve Robinson applied that hit. He's a team captain for Hot Springs and a senior.
Yep, and just a good defensive play there from Hot Springs. Looked like there may have been a little contact leading up to that throw, but a good rush there from the Hot Springs pass rush defensive line. Able to force a little bit of an errant throw there.
Cade McBride showed that he can take a hit and get right back up. Good to see in a quarterback. That will happen sometimes. He's going to hand it off to Buckley around the left side. Buckley looks for space. He finds it. What another good run. Nice tackle by a senior linebacker, but only after a gain of about 6, maybe 7 on the carry by Buckley. He's having a very fine second half. And these young guys are going against the starters for Hot Springs. Ball just short of the 38-yard line of Arkadelphia. Badgers line up. 3 receivers this time to the short side of the field at the top of your screen. High snap, but McBride's got it. They'll run the ball and not make a first down. Going to be 4th and still a couple to go. Timing thrown off a bit by that high snap.
Yep, and Buckley right there, when he has the time and he has the ability to evaluate the play, he's very good at doing that. Right there, not really much time to work with. Wasn't able to find the gap in the defense, and just a great play there from Hot Springs, adjusting, seeing the high snap, able to capitalize it and make a quick stop.
Let me point out the right tackle, Tanner Cotton. He's playing a lot with the first teamer, starting as a sophomore. He's in there right now also. Going to develop into quite an offensive tackle for Arkadelphia, only a sophomore. He's the right tackle, number 79 on this play. Going to be a quick kick on 4th down, and that's a nice punt by Cade McBride. It's going to roll all the way to the 9-yard line of Hot Springs. Nice job by the quarterback and now punter McBride. Clock should continue to run here soon. They've stopped it with 8:58 left as they'll change possessions. From the 9-yard line, Hot Springs will get it back and obviously once again send their first teamers out. They want to score a bit more if they can before the end of this game, and Arkadelphia's going to send some young guys out on the field. Now, one of those young guys scored a touchdown tonight because Caden Young, who scored that touchdown on an interception return, is a defensive lineman and a sophomore, so he is in the game. Running play up the middle, and that's a short gain. Arkadelphia defended that well. Gain of about 3. They might give him 4. To the 13-yard line. Second down, 6 yards to go. Clock running at 8:42 left in the contest, and that 8:42 is going to evaporate very quickly. We are in the good sportsmanship rule. Arkadelphia led 43-7 at halftime. It's now 43-14. Schuler will pass it to the flat. He's got a completion out there, some good blocking, and his receiver will make a nice run down the far sideline all the way to the 26-yard line, maybe the 27. On the catch and the nice run after the catch was the very fine senior Blake McClellan. He's made a couple of nice plays tonight.
Yep, and just a good play there from the Trojans. Schuler, that was his first read right there. His man was right there. McClellan able to make the catch in the flats. And great rack there from, run after catch from the Trojans.
We've got either a cramp or a leg injury from the far side on the Arkadelphia sideline. I believe it's McClellan who had made that run. So I think we've got time to take a break, and that's what we will choose to do. The score is Arkadelphia 43, Hot Springs 14, 8:01 left in this contest, and we'll be back after this.
When severe weather knocks you down, Shelter Insurance is there to help pick you up. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
In Arkadelphia, contact Shelter Agent Chad Kester.
Running play up the middle is going to be a short gain. Arkadelphia will make the tackle at the 30-yard line. On the carry for Hot Springs was Akeem Dorsey. He is a junior, had 78 yards rushing last week. He's playing with the first team right now, as he will do on a part-time basis. They got 2 or 3 really fine running backs here in Hot Springs, and a good senior quarterback who has a lot of experience coming into this year. Played beautifully last week, but boy, the Badgers have put him to the task. Here's a long pass, and this one is caught by Brogdon, their outstanding receiver, and he's going to go all the way to the 10, to the 5. He makes it to the end zone. Beautiful run after the catch by T.J. Brogdon, the sophomore, who had 164 yards and 2 touchdowns last week. His stats are going to look pretty good this week because of that long play against Arkadelphia's sophomore defense. So the Trojans have something to cheer about. And Arkadelphia will see the lead shrink a little bit, but still a safe lead for the Badgers with 7:19 left in the football game.
Yep, and another solid pass there from Schuler, the senior quarterback, showing his prowess here late in the game. Even with his team down, he's still going to fight, and he makes a great connection there. Great run after catch for the Trojans, able to take it all the way to the house. And now Hot Springs back within 3 scores.
Extra point by Rodriguez is good. 7:19 left in the football game. We are in the good sportsmanship rule. Arkadelphia led 43-7 at halftime. It's now 43-21. This game really turned in a big hurry in the second quarter, late in that quarter. Arkadelphia got 4 touchdowns in the second quarter with 7:25 left. Latonio Hughes on a 34-yard pass from Donovan Whitten. Then with 2:43 left, Braylon Bailey, a 77-yard pass from Donovan Whitten. And that play came on a long-distance play. It was 2nd down and 31 when Bailey caught the pass and scored the touchdown. Great block by Alex Loy led the way in that one. After that Bailey touchdown with 2:43 left, Arkadelphia scored again on the next possession. Jay-Sean Davis, a 67-yard wonderful run with 1:22 left before halftime. He ran over 4 defenders and then outran the safety to the end zone. A beautiful display of power and speed by Jay-Sean Davis. And then with 46 seconds left before halftime, Caden Young, the sophomore defensive lineman, caught a deflected pass and ran 37 yards for an interception return touchdown. On the kickoff return, it's going to go to the 36-yard line. That return by Arkadelphia's Seth Golden. So those 4 second quarter touchdowns were the key. 5 touchdowns in a row, in fact, including one late in the first quarter. Davis had a touchdown on a 30-yard run. And Caden Young's 37-yard interception return was set up by a block of a pass by Landon Kewen, who's had a great game at linebacker. And so Arkadelphia, with 4 straight touchdowns late in the first quarter and then through the second quarter, put this game away by halftime. Arkadelphia will send the sophomore offense back out there, led by quarterback Cade McBride and by a very fine running back in Buckley. But now they're going to send in a new running back. Alan Buckley checks in. He's a junior, and he's going to get it's going to be a quarterback keeper. Nice run up to the 45-yard line by Cade McBride. He's looked good in his action here in the second half tonight.
And a solid run there, able to run the option pretty well, keeping it for himself, and runs to the left side there for a good gain, found some space, and is able to get the Badgers really close to that first down marker. He's going to fall just short. It's going to be second and short now for Arkadelphia.
Graham Greer has checked in at wide receiver for Arkadelphia. Here's a running play and a tackle, no gain on the run. That run by Alan Buckley. He saw some action as a sophomore, a few plays last year, and he's back in here as a junior. Also in the game for Arkadelphia, Jacob Muldrow, a junior, into the game for the Badgers. Also in for the Arkadelphia Badgers right now at receiver, Daniel Kesterson has checked in on the far side, top of the screen. Here is Cade McBride. He's got a running opportunity. He's going to make a first down. Good run by the quarterback. First down as he neared midfield. And the Badgers will let that clock roll. We're under 6 minutes to play in the game. Arkadelphia winning 43-21. And the young guys getting a lot of second half experience. The entire half played under the under the good sportsmanship rule. Hot Springs has called timeout. They want to have a conversation, and so we will take a break also. We are in the fourth quarter of a game that was very exciting in the first half and has been a nice practice for the young guys in the second half. It is Arkadelphia 43, Hot Springs 21 with 5:49 left in the game. We'll be back after this.
Under perfect conditions, your car traveling at 65 miles per hour can stop in about 300 feet. That's the length of a football field.
But a fully loaded tractor trailer, one that weighs 80,000 pounds, will take 2 football fields to stop. And that's if the driver is rested, paying attention, and the truck and load is properly maintained.
If you're in an accident with a big truck, call 1-800-CAR-WRECK.
Get the experienced team that's going to be on your side, by your side.
First down and 10, Arkadelphia at its own 49-yard line. 5:49 left in the game. Clock's going to start soon. We're into the good sportsmanship rule. Trying not to call it the mercy rule, although mercy is probably involved. First down and 10, Arkadelphia. 3 receivers to the top of your screen. And the ball was dropped and picked up, and it's going to result in a gain of a yard anyway. Cade McBride making something out of nothing there. Ball at the 50-yard line. Arkadelphia continues to move it. It would mean a lot, Chase, if these young guys on offense could score.
Yep, and right there, a good step forward. McBride able to recover quickly. You know, a lot of young guys, whenever they start feeling the pressure, you know, can get a little bit frazzled, but McBride able to keep his composure, able to recover, and picks up the hard-earned yard for the Badgers, and now they keep on moving. As you mentioned, Jeff, that would be a huge momentum booster for them as they move forward in their careers.
He throws a pass, but I think just got rid of that one as there was a defender on his receiver and one short of that. So he threw it short just to get rid of that one. Live to play another down. Going to be third down, ball at the 50-yard line.
Why are we stopping the clock?
The clock, for some reason, stopped. Now it goes again. Been a little slow in understanding that rule, I think, here in the box. Pass down the left sideline, fight for the ball. It's incomplete, well defended. Intended receiver for Arkadelphia was Tristan Smith. Sophomore pass to a sophomore receiver, but broken up by a Hot Springs Trojan. It's fourth down from the 50. Last time on fourth down, McBride punted the ball and had a beautiful punt downfield. Let's see if Arkadelphia will go for it or go back to having the quarterback kick it down the field. 4:25 left, clock running. McBride's going to keep it. He's going to run. Good cut. He's got yardage. He's got a first down. McBride, beautiful, beautiful work at quarterback. And Arkadelphia will move the chains.
Huge play there for the sophomore. Pocket begins to collapse. He's not worrying about it one bit. Looks straight forward and keeps on pushing through until he's able to pick up the first down. A great run there finding the space, and he picks up the first down for the Badgers in a key situation. Jeff, that one right there could really put this one away.
Top of the screen is Kesterson at receiver. Alan Buckley is in the slot to the left. They'll send a man in motion, and receiving that pitch and running back to the line of scrimmage, maybe gaining a yard on the play is Tristan Smith. That's all right. Clock continues to roll. 3:21 and rolling. Noah Hurd is playing receiver for Arkadelphia. Out there to the right side of the line of scrimmage, along with Graham Greer. Hurd and Greer, both sophomores. And flags go down. Going to be against Arkadelphia, it looks like. Might back them up by 5, and the penalty does momentarily stop the clock. Now they'll start it again. 40-yard line. After the false start, it's going to be 2nd down and 15. McBride is motivated. He wants a touchdown. I'm sure all of the Arkadelphia Badgers do. McBride leading his team now. Calling out the snap count. Now he looks to the sideline for the play. 2nd and 15 from the Hot Springs 40. Arkadelphia enjoying a 43-21 lead. They're going to hand it off. This is Buckley. He's caught in the backfield and will not be able to gain yardage. Maybe lost 1, maybe 2. The clock continues to run down to 2:14 left in the football game. Arkadelphia is going to have a beautiful win tonight, no matter what the final score is, with Hot Springs scoring against the backup players for Arkadelphia with its first-team defense, or first-team offense, I should say, here in the second half. Arkadelphia playing its second-team offense for the entire second half. Here's McBride. He avoids one tackler, avoids a third, a second and a third, and is swung down near the original line of scrimmage. He got back that penalty yardage, but it's going to be 4th down. We'll talk more in the postgame show. We want you to stay tuned. That postgame show is sponsored by Blend Real Estate, Kerry Garnett. Stay tuned for that. We'll give you a statistical report, which will be very interesting, coming from Jim Rothwell, as he has always done a great job keeping our stats tonight. We'll have remarks also from Chase Hartzell and Arkadelphia head coach Trey Shucker.
Hopefully. Didn't quite work for us last week.
And our very own Chris Babb, who joins us now on the air. Chris, quite a game, quite a comeback after last week.
It was a good first half. Jim and I talked at the halftime. It was you just kind of recapped. That's those 4 touchdowns in that short stretch in the second quarter is what really kind of sealed this one and kind of took the wind out of the sails of Hot Springs and put this one into the sportsmanship rule at halftime. That's a big confidence booster for Arkadelphia.
Arkadelphia played with confidence from the outset. They led from the outset. And yet, Chris, it very quickly went from being a lead for Arkadelphia and then a comfortable lead and then a mercy rule game. It all happened so quickly and got away from Hot Springs, a team that scored 52 points in a big blowout win last week.
Yeah, it's just things can snowball on you, and if you can't take advantage of those, that's what happened, and it did for Hot Springs.
Back to pass is Cade McBride. He'll throw it across the middle and deep, looking for a receiver at the 15. It is broken up and incomplete, intended for Tristan Smith. Arkadelphia has turned it over on downs, clock running with 1:12 left in the contest. Arkadelphia will move to 1-1. Obviously not conference play yet. Next week is not conference either. Greenbrier with a big win tonight, so that'll be quite a contest next week as Arkadelphia has all 3 non-conference games in a higher classification than its home in 4A. That does help you prepare for the very good teams in the 7-4A conference.
They must not have another quarterback.
That Schuler is still in.
And
he's a senior, 3-year starter. And another flag is down, going to be a penalty against that offense of Hot Springs. You know, Hot Springs has some talent without a doubt. The biggest problem I see with the Trojans is just penalties. They shoot themselves in the foot so often, Chris.
They have a lot of penalties. We talked about it in the first half last week against Fountain Lake, and a lot tonight. We'll have to see at the end of the game how many exactly. But, these are still the I think I see Brogdon out there on the far right side too, and you have McClelland as well. So still the dudes out there for Hot Springs.
Brogdon is tall and fast, and he's not the target on this play. Flags go down, and Arkadelphia going to be called for the early contact.
Yeah, that one was, with this left in the game, you kind of would just like to see some of those just go, but that one was kind of obvious. He came across, and the defensive back for Arkadelphia just kind of looked like it tripped, and when Nick Williams running off with a cramp, he might have messed it up there. And now we're going back, and now we're going to have to measure it off. But golly, this is the longest second half of a sportsmanship rule game I think we've ever been through.
We've had the opportunity to call out the names of a lot of sophomores, and Xavier Hayward is one of those in on defense right now for Arkadelphia. The young guys are playing on defense as well as offense here
now, this
as well.
You got Brogdon on a mismatch over there, but Arkadelphia's given about 11 yards of cushion. Don't want to get beat deep.
Running play, the good gain over the 50-yard line to the 40. Down the sideline, there's some yardage, but Arkadelphia will make the tackle at the 18-yard line. On the tackle for Arkadelphia is Timmy Rushing. 9 seconds, 8 seconds. They might get one more play off. Schuler would like to throw it to the end zone, but he's down to 3, 2, and he gets the play away. It's going to be a running play, and he's got a little room on the far side. He's to the 10, he's to the 5, and he will make it to the end zone. So Hot Springs scores on the last play of the game to make it a much more respectable score, but at halftime it was 43-7. And Arkadelphia has played its younger players throughout the second half. Hot Springs has taken advantage with their seniors. But still, Arkadelphia will have the win by mercy rule tonight.
We're going to go. We're going to have the extra point, but it's just this game is going to end on a penalty, But they're going to do. There's no ball game.
Yeah,
they call the touchdown or not?
Yeah, I think they counted the touchdown, but they're not going to kick the extra point. Enough is enough, I suppose. So that is the final score. It is Arkadelphia 43, and the Badgers had that at halftime, and Hot Springs 27. So they got 3 touchdowns in the second half during the mercy rule, playing against the Arkadelphia sophomores. But the sophomores got some nice experience tonight, playing a half of football against a varsity 5A team and a first-team varsity 5A team. And the Arkadelphia Badgers offensively and defensively dominated the game, especially from midway through the first quarter on, when not only did they have the lead from their play early in the first quarter, but they just completely took control of it during the latter part of that first half. When we come back, we'll have the post-game show. Jim Rothwell is going to bring us statistics. We'll talk with Chris Babb, and down on the field, we're going to get an interview with Arkadelphia's victorious head coach, Trey Shucker. We'll be back with the post-game show brought to you by Blend Real Estate and Kerry Garnett. We'll be back after this.
Price & Company Insurance is the area's only trusted choice independent insurance agency. What is that, you might ask? An independent insurance agency works for you, the customer, and not the insurance companies. So the next time you're shopping for home, auto, business, life, or health insurance, we invite you to experience an unprecedented level of customer service and expertise. Call or click for a quote today.
For over 75 years, Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts on Main Street in Arkadelphia has served the people of Arkadelphia and her surrounding communities, providing a wide variety of floral and gift needs. Do you have a special occasion that calls for just the right touch of creativity? Join the many who call David Goodman at Mary and Martha's to create a floral arrangement to fit their needs and budget. Call Mary and Martha's at 870-246-2446 or visit their location at 921 Main Street in Arkadelphia. Mary and Martha's Florist is a proud supporter of the Arkadelphia Badgers.
Welcome back to the Blend Real Estate post-game show, sponsored by Blend Real Estate and Kerry Garnett in San Diego, California. As you see the Blend logo go up on the screen, your final score, Arkadelphia 43, Hot Springs 27, 20 points for the Trojans against the 2s and 3s of the Arkadelphia defense in the second half. Good experience for those guys. Arkadelphia, that big second quarter, 4 touchdowns midway through the quarter. Jim, we talked about that at halftime, and you gave us some halftime statistics, and I guess that's offensively, that's kind of where we stand since none of the starters came in and played in the second half at all.
That's true. Big second half, though, from Bailey. 10, let's see, I think it was Yeah, D'Angelo Buckley.
Yeah.
10 carries for 60 yards. Good job. I mean, Caden McBride, 7 carries for 57 yards and some key first downs to keep Arkadelphia in possession of the ball. That was the thing that I noticed in this second half with the backups in there. Arkadelphia was still able to move the ball. Passing game suffered a little bit getting open, but again, Hot Springs had still their first team playing both offense and defense mainly. There are a few backups in it, or some people that play some on the first team occasionally. But still able to move the ball, control the clock some, to let it run out, and great experience for them to be able to be on the field. Caden McBride handled himself very well. He was only 2 out of 8 for 14 yards and had 1 interception, but he was very calm in the pockets. A couple of one bad snap he picked up. I think he picked up a yard on that, so good job there, and a good job deciding on the runs to keep the first downs going. Penalties just seem to be contagious. Arkadelphia, we didn't really talk about that, but they had a bunch of penalties as well, and that's something I know Coach Shucker was wanting to work on, because you can't do that against some of these other teams in the conference. Arkadelphia actually ended up with 12 penalties for 100 yards. We kept noticing the Hot Springs penalties, but Arkadelphia had 12 for 100 yards as well. So first half, about as well as you can play. Second half, what you expect when you've got some people in there who are getting some experience. First time on the field for many of them. First real game experience. So good job from them. I thought they did a good job. And the defense did a good job in the second half as well. They Hot Springs kept their primarily, certainly their skill players in there, the quarterback, the receivers, the running backs were all those that played in the first half. And so Arkadelphia did a great job there, even defensively. For Hot Springs, the quarterback, Scheller, ended up 10 out of 20. I think he was 2 out of 8 or something in the first half for 198 yards. A couple of those came on some big plays. Most of those yards came on 2 big plays to T.J. Brogdon, who ended up with 3 receptions. Not many receptions, but 132 yards. That's not a bad night, averaging there. Rushing defense, let's see, Dorsey ended up with 8 carries for 77 yards. The other running back, Lanier, had 13 carries for about 71 yards. So total, Hot Springs picked up 198 yards passing, 163 rushing. Most of that was in the second half. Very little of it in the first half. For Arkadelphia, if we go back, their totals, a good balance, what you would ideally like to see, whether it's in a game like this or a whole game. 233 yards passing. Again, Whitten was 10 out of 15, although McBride was only 2 out of 8. Still not a bad night, 12 out of 23 for both of them. And 3 TDs and 1 interception between them. Rushing, 235 yards on 34 carries. That's about 7 yards a carry. If you do that, you're going to be in good shape. And again, the diversification, receivers, several of them had over 40 yards, 2-4 receptions. That's the thing you can't keep up, particularly on the receivers with Arkadelphia. You can't lock in on one of them. There's going to be somebody else that comes through. Rushing game, again, Deshaun Davis did a great job there. And then Buckley came in and did a good job as well. And Bailey's always a threat. He didn't really get a chance to play much in the second half, so probably would have seen him some at running back, maybe in the second half even.
Thanks, Jim. That's some good stats for our Arkadelphia, and good to see D'Angelo Buckley, Cade McBride get some good rushing yards there in the second half. Again, your final score, Arkadelphia 43, Hot Springs 27. When we come back, we will have are crossing our fingers for technology to work this week and have an interview from Chase Hartzell with Arkadelphia head coach Trey Shucker. You're watching the Blend Real Estate postgame show. We'll take a short break. Hopefully have Coach Shucker on the other side after we talk about what's coming up. You're watching Arkadelphia Badger football on ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com. We'll be back after this timeout.
At Eccles, Thompson, and Kneebone CPA, we seek to provide accounting, tax, and financial planning services to individuals and small businesses with proficiency and integrity. Serving Arkadelphia since 1977, our staff looks forward to meeting your financial goals of today and also becoming your financial advocate for life. Visit us at 205 North 25th Street or call 246-8991 today. Eccles, Thompson, and Kneebone Ltd. says go Badgers.
Hey, I didn't order any pizza.
Jake from State Farm. After you saved me so much dough on insurance with that Parker promo, I devised a promo for you.
Here's the deal, Parker. State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Right. Pepperoni pockets, cuckoo crusties.
There's no promo, it's just great rates.
And a cider ranch.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Austin Wingfield in Arkadelphia today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
As a family-owned sporting goods supplier since 1950, Southwest Sporting Goods understands the value of customer service and is committed to providing the best quality customer service and merchandise available. Southwest Sporting Goods is located in Arkadelphia, but also has salesmen that cover the entire state of Arkansas to help ensure that their customers will receive the best customer service and pricing that can be found. Southwest Sporting Goods, located in downtown Arkadelphia, supporting the Badgers since 1950. Welcome back to the Blend Real Estate Post-Game Show. Chris Babb along with Jeff Root. Arkadelphia moves to 1-1 on the season, 43-27 the win over the Hot Springs Trojans, a lot closer than not as close as the score indicated, 43-7 at halftime. Let's go ahead and take a look at some other scores from around the state. Take a look at some 4A scores. Shiloh Christian in Oklahoma playing Poto, Oklahoma. Shiloh Christian, the number 1 team in Class 4A, up 21-14 in the third quarter. Another couple of other big 4A, 5A games, as Chase mentioned some of those at halftime. Robinson playing at Maumelle, Robinson trails Maumelle 41-35 in the fourth quarter. A 4A, 5A game, Warren at Whitehall. The Whitehall Bulldogs lead Warren 28-0 in the fourth quarter. The last score we had on the Greenbrier-Batesville game was 42-0. That's still the last score on the scoreboard we have right now. Harding Academy was supposed to play this week. Their opponent had to have a COVID cancellation, so they picked up Valley View, a 5A school. Harding Academy 3A. Will be a 4A next year most likely. Harding Academy leads Valley View 24-21 in the fourth quarter. Let's take a look at a few other scores from Class 4A as we scroll through. Mena defeating Clarksville 34-6. Waldron that was down big at halftime to Gore, Oklahoma. Ashdown 42, DeQueen 0 in the fourth quarter. Malvern has come back and taken a 28-20 lead over Glen Rose in the fourth quarter. That game is at Claude Mann Stadium in Malvern. McGee 47-14 over DeWitt at halftime for a team, the DeWitt Dragons. Battle of Highway 67 at halftime. Prescott led Gurdon 43-7. And let's take a look if we can scroll through some of the other 4A games, and not a lot on the scoreboard so far. At least the way I'm looking, I do have the Arkadelphia final. Scroll through some more 4A scores, and Jeff, as you can tell, I'm trying to stall a little bit. Pottsville defeats Bearden 43-12. Haskell Harmony Grove defeats Jesseville 35-14. Centerpoint gets a win 35-14 over Murfreesboro, and that is about the final scores that we've gotten from our scoreboard. So again, Arkadelphia 43, Hot Springs 27, and it looks like we might have to do a little audio interview with Coach Shucker again this week. We'll go down to the field.
All right, this is Chase Hartzell down on the field, and we'll at least listen, okay? Yeah, we'll listen. This is Arkadelphia head coach Trey Shucker, interviewed by our own Chase Hartzell.
Before they turn the light, all right. So before they turn the lights out on us here in Hot Springs, I've got our Arkadelphia head coach Trey Shucker here. Coach Shucker, big win tonight following the loss last week. You know, to lose in that way at home, but then to come on the road and recover and to have a win like this, you know, what did that mean?
Yeah, you know, we needed this tonight. Last week didn't meet our expectation. You know, we knew we weren't the team that we were last week. Tonight, we met our expectation. We executed well in all aspects of the game. You know, tonight is who we thought we were.
And so what do you think were some of the moments that really turned the tide for your team in this one?
You know, I thought Jay-Sean Davis ran the ball really hard tonight. You know, he had a couple big runs. You know, he was that tough runner that we know he is. He's that one cut, get downhill and break tackles type of back. And, you know, he ran the ball really hard, and he got out in space, and once he's in space, he was able to open up his stride, and he hit him with some big runs tonight.
Were there any other key standout performances?
I thought offensive line did a great job in our pass pro and our run game. You know, I thought we controlled the line of scrimmage with our O-line. I thought our linebacking core on defense played really well, extremely well. Getting to the ball, making tackles, and wrapping up. I thought our DBs did a great job as well, locking down, you know, routes, finding receivers and covering routes and playing the ball in the air.
And so now, after having a win and a loss, you know, what's the mindset moving forward?
The biggest thing right now is still focusing on ourselves. We're still in the non-conference schedule. Still focus on ourselves and try to progress as much as possible from week to week. All we can do is get better every week and every day. So that's the biggest focus right now, is keep getting better.
All right, well, thanks, Coach. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you. Go back.
That's Chase Hartzell talking with Arkadelphia's victorious head coach, Trey Shucker. Chris Babb and I are going to wrap it up here with some offensive and defensive players of the game. Lots of choices on both sides of the field because so many players played well, and in the second quarter especially, offense and defense both scored touchdowns, Chris.
Yeah, this is I think there are a couple of players. You can look at Jay-Sean Davis, I believe somewhere around 8 carries, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns, and just the highlight run that really kind of turned the tide in the game. Donovan Whitten, 10 of 15, 220 yards, 3 touchdown passes. So either one of those two, I think, Jay-Sean or Donovan, either one really had a big bearing in how this game was going. That big play by Jay-Sean breaking through the linebacker, right behind the defensive line and beating the secondary is a big play.
I'm with you, Chris. I tell you what, Donovan Whitten needed to shine through tonight to set up the rest of his season after everybody had a tough outing against Fairview, and he did that, 10 for 15, 220 yards, and that was just in one half of play with 3 touchdowns. But look at this stat. Jay-Sean Davis in his 2 touchdown runs totaled 97 yards, a 30-yard touchdown run, a 67-yard touchdown run. And that 67-yard run, I don't know how many times I've seen a high school student do anything quite like that. He ran over 4 defenders and then outraced the secondary to the end zone. It was an awesome display of power and speed.
It really was, and it came at a time, I think the play before that, Braylon Bailey had that catch
long
from
touchdown,
Donovan on
77 yards.
Second and 31 with a big block from Alex Loy. Then you have the Jay-Sean Davis touchdown run, and that just really kind of sealed it. But it was a strong run, and I know that's what people were expecting to see from Jay-Sean Davis this season.
So with a nice honorable mention to Whitten, we're going to go with Jay-Sean Davis as our offensive player of the game. What about defense? Lots of guys playing well.
Yeah, there were. You had a couple of you look at the tackle totals, thanks to Troy Mitchell from Hot Springs Radio and formerly of Henderson State for sending us some defensive and offensive statistics. Max Wilson, 5 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. Landon Kewen, 4 tackles. Latonio Hughes, only 1 tackle. 2 pass breakups that were big defensive plays on deep balls where he recovered some ground and were able to knock that. Landon Kewen, we mentioned, was all over the place. This was a team defensive effort there in the first half. I think holding Hot Springs to 7 points. They had the one long run that set up inside the 10-yard line touchdown. But I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. What do you think? Do you like that?
Well, and I tell you what, so many of these stats are really one half of play because a lot of these guys didn't play much at all in the second half, even on defense. I think I would, although Max Wilson played great, the other guys, as you said, played great, I'd go with Landon Kewen. We're talking about a guy that's been trying to get on the field for so long, and now it looks like as a senior he's going to have a big year.
He also had that tip pass that Katie Young intercepted and ran back for a touchdown. Big play from Landon.
Exactly. So Landon Kewen is our defensive player of the game in the big victory tonight. So the final score is Arkadelphia 43 and Hot Springs 27, but the score at halftime that caused the good sportsmanship rule go into effect was 43-7, and once again, just amazing the way it all came about in the last. Well, I'll just say the entire second quarter.
The last 7 minutes.
The last 7:25. You're right. Latonio Hughes got a touchdown on a 34-yard pass with 7:25 left in the game. And then in the final 2:43, 3 touchdowns. Bailey, 77-yard pass from Witten, 1:22 left. Jayshon Davis, 67-yard run. And then the defense came out, and Caden Young caught that tipped ball from Landon Kewen, and Caden Young ran it in 37 yards for the interception return touchdown. It suddenly went from a nice lead for the Badgers to the good sportsmanship rule by halftime. A big, big win for a team that was disappointed in how they played last week. Coach Shucker talked about that. They were not the team they expected to be last week, but this week they played up to expectations, and his expectations are high.
They are, and they are high, and they mentioned non-conference, big week. Next week against Greenbrier, and Jeff, that's the night the lights went out in Hot Springs.
Yes, I tell you what, you guys are getting a nice look at what nighttime looks like in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And, well, maybe not downtown, but here where we are at Hot Springs High. Tell you what, it has been a fun evening. We have been glad to be with you. Thank you to all of our sponsors, including our post-game sponsor, Blend Real Estate, Kerry Garnett. We appreciate all of our sponsors. We're going to be back next week, a big test for the last non-conference game against Greenbrier. Chris, wrap it up by telling us about Greenbrier. They had a big win tonight. They're going to be a strong opponent, again, from a higher classification.
Yeah, big, strong quarterback in Wilcox, an offensive line that's going to look as big as Camden did, and it's going to be a tough contest, a tough test for Arkadelphia next week.
I want to say thank you to Coleman Callan on camera tonight. I want to say thank you to Jim Rothwell on statistics, to my partner on the air. That would be Chase Hartsville of Hot Springs. Came back home. I was born in Hot Springs. I kind of, in a way, came back home, but Arkadelphia is really home for me. And also thank you to Chris Babb, the quarterback of our team. This is Jeff Root. Good night, everybody. Final score, Arkadelphia 43, Hot Springs 27. Abby, Daddy is on his way home.